can we not talk about family when family's all that we got? Everything I went through, you were standing there by my side, and now you gon' be with me for the last ride.
Hello and welcome to Too Fast, Too Forever. There's all kinds of family, we chose this one. This is episode 18, Furious 7, Lap 2. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe 2, and this episode is brought to you by Kleenex Tissue. Kleenex Tissue was first introduced in 1924 when a package of 100 sheets was sold for 65 cents. Although it was originally marketed as a cold cream remover, people use tissues many other ways, especially as a disposable handkerchief. If you teared up at the end like I did, remember to just reach over, grab a Kleenex.
Shout out Kleenex tissues. Are you one of those people? I don't understand the people, like, you know how some people call, like, all MP3 players iPods? Like, some people call all tissues Kleenex, and, like, that's a very specific thing that I've never done. And I also don't know anybody who does that. Like, oh, hand me a Kleenex.
No, I do call them Kleenex if they are Kleenex, but I'm not the right person to ask about that specific one, because in the lab we have Kim wipes. So we alternate between Kim wipes and clean. Like if I'm in the lab, I'm like, grab a Kim wipe.
That's even weirder.
Well, they're Kimberly Clark brand wipes.
I know that, but like, so okay, so
which is a Kleenex
hypothetically
company.
Speaking, you're at resident historian Mike Manzi's house, right? And
Yeah.
you have to blow your nose, and you say, "Hand me a what?"
I'd say, do you got any Kleenex?
Okay, so you are one of the people who says Kleenex.
But at the same time, I don't do that with cars or iPods or other stuff. Do you say Q-tip or do you say cotton swab?
Well, I don't use either. I guess I would say Q-tip.
That's a brand, yeah.
What, do people do that with cars?
Yeah, they'll be like, my Honda instead of my car.
I feel like that's different.
It's the same thing.
No, because you're not referring to all cars as Hondas.
Yeah,
like some
okay.
people refer to all tissues as Kleenex, right? It's not like, oh, you gonna get your Honda? It's like, well, I don't have a Honda. You know what I mean? Like there's a difference there.
Do you call it cling wrap or saran wrap?
I don't think I've ever like just plastic wrap.
You must have pretend bought a house, because if you don't have any opinions on any of these, what the fuck
I
do you
just
have
don't
there?
refer to things. I mean, I live alone. I don't need to ask people for things. I've never used a Q-tip on my ears, I don't think, or a
Why?
cotton swab.
How do you live?
Carefully.
Weird. Okay.
I've used them on like Nintendo games, like NES games, SNES games, to wipe off that gunk to make it play better.
So you just have
when
like
you insert
shitty,
it.
dirty ears all the time.
No, I use a washcloth in the shower to wash out my ears.
Yeah, but you don't get that good wax clean.
Ugh.
Okay, whatever, dude.
So yes, I have dirty ears apparently.
Do you
Well, here we are, lap 2 of Too Fast, Too Forever, Furious 7. Joining us after the break will be. This is actually, I was thinking, Joe, this is the second time in 4 episodes, second time this lap, that our guest is someone that we met on Letterboxd.
That's cool. So you seem to find a lot of cool people on Letterboxd.
Letterboxd is a mixture of cool people and then high school girls who might also be cool people, and then people who don't know how to communicate with others and just do it through their words on Letterboxd, which,
Fair.
generally drives them to pretty popular because they are very poetic and very impassioned by their speech. We found Liam, I think, as we talked about on the Fast and Furious episode, because he was the only other person in the world who had reviewed the really, really early Zac Efron movie we were talking about.
Yeah.
Austin, and I talked about this on our 15 Minutes episode of Keanu Club. He was on there with me and resident historian Mike Manzi.
Yeah.
I found him because I was watching, there's a movie called Can't Stop the Music, which is a Village People movie, but not a Village People musical. It's a very strange movie, and How Does It Get Made did it.
It's a movie with the Village People, but they're not singing.
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Well, there's music, but it's not a musical.
It's not a musical.
How
I get it.
Right.
Yeah.
How Does It Get Made cover it? We talked about that podcast a lot on here because I love that, and I found a lot of good and weird movies. And I was like, I wonder. This was after we had started doing the Letterboxd game and stuff like that.
Yeah.
On other podcasts, and I was like, I wonder if there's anybody in the world who this is one of their top 4 movies. And I clicked around, there's like 4 people. One of the people, Austin Wolf Southern, the guy who we're talking to tonight, had that movie, a Nicolas Cage movie.
Wow.
One of our favorite Keanu Reeves movies that Mike and I had never heard of before we started watching it, and also Sleepaway Camp. Or maybe there wasn't a Cage movie, maybe there's Spring Breakers. There's like 5 movies he cycles between. I'm like,
wow.
Oh, this guy has
Right
all
up
the
my
same
alley.
tastes as me.
Yeah.
We need to be friends.
Yeah.
And so we reached out. He was on an episode of 15. He was on 15 Minutes, an episode of Charlize Theron of Watch the Throne. He was on an episode of Mike's show, Third Time's a Charm. And now here he is tonight, in a little bit, to talk about Furious 7. And I'm very excited.
I'm excited too. It's going to be a good one.
And we will talk to him in a little bit. But before we get there, we have some things to do. First up, extracurricular activities.
Okay.
You teased in the last episode you were going to Ottawa to see a hockey game.
Oh, fuck. I haven't covered that yet either.
Basically, between the time that we recorded and released the last episode, you had gone and come back. But no, we have not talked about it on the show yet.
Yes, so I went to Ottawa for the game, which the Penguins lost, so that was kind of sad. But
Bummer.
yeah, we sat on the glass. We saw a really fun game. Rachel got heckled and almost fought some guys behind us. That was pretty funny. But no, generally it was a cool arena. Ottawa was a cool time. I liked it there. I would go back.
How's the bathroom situation?
Much better than Montreal. They had like
Good.
bathrooms like every, section or two. Very easy to get to the bathroom. Lots of cool food choices, lots of interesting things. Like the whole upper deck is like you can get everything there and you can kind of do full sweeps like the baseball stadiums, you know what I mean? Like you could go like
Sure,
all the way around the
yep,
upper deck and there was like barbecue and stores and like many different types of food and poutineries and all kinds of that stuff. I think it was really cool. Much newer, but they're also trying to build a new stadium. But anyways, good time. Thumbs up. Recommend it. Ottawa was cool in general, minus it snowing as we were trying to drive up there. So,
Have you been to a Maple Leafs game or no?
no, I have not been to a Maple Leafs game, but that's on
Because
my
that's
list.
also doable too. If you're going to Montreal, you're going to Ottawa. That's probably even closer than both of them.
No, it's a little bit further.
Oh, I guess maybe from you because you're more east. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, because I guess you have to
Exactly.
go west to get there. Yeah. All right.
It's
Makes sense.
close to it's close. It's almost as far as Ottawa, but the tickets are usually a lot more expensive because city and they like love their team and their team's doing really well right now, so it's a little
Gotcha.
harder to get there. That was my
there you
first
go.
one. Do you want to go back and forth or do you want to go?
Sure, I'll do a little one real quick.
Go
So I
ahead.
watched. It's not really a thing that I did, but I told you a little bit about this. I saw Wreck-It Ralph 2. Ralph
cool.
Breaks the Internet.
And?
the reason I bring it up, the movie's not great, but it's fun. It's
I love
very slow to
Wreck-It
get
Ralph
going.
1. I love the first one.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
And also, somebody that, Tobin Addington, who was on the first episode of this lap, who co-hosts the Contenders with his sister Iceland. Shout out Tobin and Iceland. Tobin went to school with someone who I think wrote that or maybe directed it, the first
Wow.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Jesus,
Yeah,
okay.
he's got a couple people that he went to college with for screenwriting or maybe got his master's with or something that all became like very... Tobin has sold scripts. He's also successful in his own right. I don't want to
Yeah,
belittle him, but,
downplay him for sure.
his friends, he knows the person who was friendly with the person who either wrote or directed Wreck-It Ralph, so very cool. So anyway, the second one is not as good. It takes a while to get going. It's pretty predictable. However, there's a couple things in there that are really good that I won't spoil too much, but for the purposes of this podcast,
Yes.
we know that Gal Gadot, aka Giselle from 456, and also, again, credited in this one because there's a picture of her. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But she is in Wreck-It Ralph 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and she plays a racer. Like, she plays, like, this basically a badass, like, not biker chick, but, like, badass, like, gang leader of, like, this,
Well, there was
racing
racing in the
video
first
game.
one. Yeah.
Yes, and so it's a racing video game. It's like an adult racing video game that Vanellope von Schweetz like sort of goes to and falls in love with. But there are so many. I caught at least 3 or 4 different Fast and Furious references.
I'm excited.
They mention family at one point when they're talking to her. They Tokyo drift around a Japanese restaurant. They
Don't ruin them. Don't ruin them. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough.
But there's a couple others I was just
Okay.
like, oh, this is so good. And it's just, the movie's not great. I mean, the movie's fun, and I recommend watching it.
Yeah.
Either go see it in theaters if you want, or wait for it to come out on home movie. Like, definitely watch it, especially if you're a Fast and Furious fan. They're very cool little sort of Easter eggs, sort of little jokes. And she's not in the movie a ton, but sort of the middle chunk of the movie is about her character.
Okay, cool.
And it's definitely worth checking out because it's clear that the people who made that movie or at least wrote it or whatever love these movies, and it's always cool to see that in other places.
Amen. I agree.
What else you got?
Little update. I hurt my foot last time I told you about that. Today I went to the doctor's and I don't have to wear this stupid boot anymore. I'm in like a little brace thing, so I'm moving on up.
Okay.
Yeah, didn't break anything when I fucked up my ankle. It's feeling shitty, but better, and that's
Good.
doing good. And the last thing is we just did Thanksgiving,
Uh-huh.
and Rachel's parents came to visit, and one of the most fun things we did was we went to an escape the room, finally.
Escape room. Yeah.
Escape room, yeah. And we've been talking about this forever between our friends and stuff. We finally went to one, and it was really, really fun. And I was very proud of like how our team just kind of like split, and everybody just started conquering random shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like in pairs of 2s almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it really fast for never doing an escape room before. and I was proud of it. So that was it. It's fun.
That's
If,
awesome.
if you guys have any one of those near you, I mean, like I obviously can't vouch for all of them, but it's a cool idea, so
Sure.
I liked it. Yeah.
I did on Thanksgiving weekend. My sister flew up from Texas, so she was here, so that was cool. On Friday, on Black Friday, we had our fantasy baseball winter meetings where we all get drunk and yell at each other and change the rules. We had that at our Russian banya, the Russian bathhouse that we go to sometimes,
Yeah.
and it was great. But before that, I was telling you, I went to a brewery called Icarus Brewing in Lakewood, New Jersey, and Icarus is really good stuff. It's a really cool spot, and they have really delicious beers. I am finishing up the fourth of four Power Juicer beers, an Imperial IPA, which I'm not
Okay.
drinking a Corona, but this is a delicious, delicious beer. So,
That's
shout
awesome,
out
dude.
Icarus. Shout out just beer in general.
Yeah, beer in general for sure. We've been doing a lot of beering. Matt came up because he's back for Thanksgiving. Brought a bunch of beers that he found in Atlanta back with him. So we've been doing lots of beering there too. So
Very cool. Next segment we have is our mailbag segment. Is there anything else you want to say about the last 2 weeks? Because I have not done much of anything at all,
done
really.
a ton of stuff, but that was the good stuff. I gave you guys the good stuff.
Actually, before we get to the mailbag segment, real quick, just a friendly reminder that we are on Patreon. If you want to support us, you can get some cool merch, you get some exclusive audio content, all sorts of stuff. Patreon.com/toofast2forever. One of our patrons gets a shout out here on the show, Cassie Wilson. Shout out, Cassie Wilson. Thank you for supporting Too Fast, Too Forever. We love you. All right, mailbag time. We have an email address here on the show, family@cageclub.me. Write in, say hello, give us your thoughts of the episode, send us car pictures.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do, send hate mail. Whatever you want
Whatever
to
you
read
want.
or write, I will read on air.
Yes.
Our friend Wes Hampton once again wrote in to the episode, to the show, to talk about Ride or Die, more like Ride and Cry at Furious 7 from Wes Hampton. What up, fam? Excellent last episode as always. Jordan was a great guest. I looked her up on Instagram and her circus stuff is nuts. Side
fun,
note,
yeah.
doing that circus.
Do that circus.
We have a kind of similar entry into the Fast and Furious franchise, except that I actually watched the first one a bunch when I was in high school, so I have a nostalgic attachment to that one, that she and Joey obviously don't have. Obviously, she had some great insights. It was nice that she, too, is such a fan of the series.
Yeah.
Just a few things this week. Joey, hope your ankle's feeling better. Foot
It is,
problems are
thank
no
you.
joke.
They're not.
I hope it wasn't your clutch foot, or you're going to have some problems in your quarter miles.
I've been granny shifting, not double clutching like I'm supposed to.
You guys seem confused at the phrase headcanon, which we could have Googled but didn't, which I'm glad that, Wes wrote in about. So, which I guess you would be familiar with just from talking about movies and pop culture all the time, but that's what I get for assuming. Headcanon is basically a theory about a story or work of fiction that isn't actually part of the work, but that you as a fan have chosen to believe as fact.
Okay.
It's canon, but only in your head. Does that make sense? Like,
That's totally clear. Yeah.
not everyone follows this rule, but in my mind, it really only makes sense if it doesn't expressly contradict some established lore. For example, the Hobbes' gay/asexual theory could be considered headcanon because there's no evidence that he's not gay or asexual, and you could easily imagine this being true without it affecting or altering anything already established by the current films. I've pretty much accepted it as fact until they expressly deny it in a future film. And I did take a note tonight about is he gay or not, but we will talk about it when Austin is on, because I want to get his thoughts on this.
Okay.
Jordan's story about being confused by the naming convention of the Fast and Furious movies and starting 4 first happened to me, but with a different series. When I was younger, I was looking for a few movies to rent one night, and I remember hearing a lot about Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness. Have you seen these movies, Joe, or no?
Yeah. We did them for a film club a couple years back.
Oh, before I was... Okay.
Yeah.
The Real Bad podcast on our network did all 3 of these movies, and then they also did the TV show, The Ash vs. Evil Dead. So they're really a mixed bag. And some of them the host loves, some of them they don't really.
Yeah.
But if you like those movies, if you want to go check those out, check out The Real Bad
We watched-
podcast.
I think Rachel and I watched 1 and 2 and the new one. I think we might have done all of them.
Oh, the new one. We also did the new one for Cinemakers, me and resident historian Mike Manzi, and the host
hate
of
it?
Real Bad. I really don't like the new one.
Oh, we thought it was fun. Okay.
I have problems with it in a few different ways, which listen to our episode on Cinemakers at cageclub.me. He had no idea they were related in any way. He just coincidentally decided to rent them on the same night. So he started Army of Darkness first, but knew enough about Evil Dead 2. Like 10 minutes in, he got really confused about the character of the Chainsaw, or Chainsaw Hand, also being in this movie. So he switched over to Evil Dead 2 and couldn't believe that they had no idea that they were part of the same series.
That's
so
funny. That's really funny.
Everything works out sometimes.
Yeah, dude, that was very serendipitous. I liked it.
Yeah. Joey, I hate to fuel this argument further, which when I read this the first time, I was like, uh-oh, GIF versus GIF, but no, it's a different one.
I was really thinking you were going there. Go ahead.
Maybe you've done the research, but the vowel sound in oil is a diphthong. Two vowel sounds sliding from one to the other, and the number of syllables really depends on your dialect and pronunciation. I would say 2 syllables, but there's a strong case to be made for 1. That's the whole root of this argument.
We
People
pretty
feel
much just hit a
passionately
new
both ways.
GIF argument with oil 1 or 2. Oil.
It's 2.
I can see you standing there doing it and clapping.
I did
I know.
Yeah.
The thing is, it didn't take much for my brain to be like, that's exactly what you look like doing it. Okay.
Maybe we add that to our either-or questions for guests on the show. Is oil 1 or 2
Ooh.
syllables?
Good one. Yeah, I like it.
Has
Okay.
nothing to do with the movies, but has to do with the show. Okay. I should have done this for the last episode, but I didn't think about it. My friend has a band in Phoenix, Arizona, and a few months ago they put out a music video, and to me, their new drummer looks like fake Dom from the beginning of Fast and Furious 6. I told my buddy that. He had to explain who it was because he hadn't seen the movies, which... Wes, be a better friend. Make him see the movies. That's what I'm saying. And he laughed and said that they call him Vin Diesel's stunt double. Here's a link to the video, but I'll include a screenshot at the bottom, which I'll put right here. Hang on.
Yeah, he definitely looks like fake Dom in the room, like when The Rock comes into the room to
Yeah.
fight him. Yeah, exactly. Throws him through the ceiling or whatever.
He says, lastly, the other day I found the Which Character Are You quiz you guys do on the show. I won't spoil who I am, but I will say I'm pretty sure it's a new one. Ooh. I don't know if I'm cool enough to really be this person, but one thing I can tell you for sure, I drive like the wind blows. Which,
Gets me every time.
I'm guessing he got Letty because she's the only one we have not gotten.
Kind of, maybe. But we don't know how many there are, so...
He has another car picture in here, which we'll talk about later. And he says, that's all I've got today. I'm excited to hear the Furious 7 episode. I have a strong emotional attachment to this one. Like most fans, I assume, even though it's one of the sillier movies. Until next time, Wes. Well, thank you, Wes. Shout out, Wes. Thank you for writing in. If you want to write in, have your email read on air, family@cageclub.me. Email us. We'll read anything you say on air. On the streets.
I
Joe.
have one.
Go for it.
This is weird. This is like kind of new news. I don't know if it's new news or not. We might need to like look up if it's... Yeah, it's being released recently, but they're releasing a new I Am Paul Walker.
We knew that.
We knew that. Well, they released like the trailer for the new I Am.
Oh,
Paul
it was
Walker.
supposed to come out Thanksgiving weekend. It should have been out by now.
Okay, cool. But didn't we watch I Am Paul Walker?
We watched I Am Paul Walker, but there's a different one. I don't remember what it's called.
It's called I Am Paul Walker.
No.
Yes, because this is from... It will be released VOD November 30th. Oh, it's a 30-minute extended cut of the one that we saw.
Oh.
Yes.
No, I don't have interest in that. I'm sorry. Like I would watch the 30 minutes separately, but I didn't find that interesting enough to rewatch the entire thing.
Yeah, if you liked that, if you liked our episode on it, which we did an episode on it, they're doing a director's cut version with 30 more minutes of it.
Because when we first watched it, or maybe like shortly after we watched the documentary, we had found news that there was going to be another one.
That's something different.
Is it?
I think it's something different.
Because it was supposed to come out around now, or by the end of the year, because remember, he died around Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, because it's the 5th anniversary of it, like right
Right,
now.
and so I thought it was a separate movie altogether. Maybe it is, maybe, I don't know what.
Yeah, same. I'm a little lost.
All right, interesting,
a little lost
interesting.
Right now. Keep it in your memory banks, though.
The only thing I really have to bring up here is that basically every time The Rock posts something on Instagram, because he's got, actually, let's play a game. How many followers do you think he has on Instagram?
I think Kim Kardashian has about like 20 million or something stupid like that. I bet The Rock has like 2.5 million.
Kim Kardashian, for the record, has 120 million.
Jesus.
The Rock, Mr. The Rock, 122 million.
Damn. He has more
So
followers
you're only
than
off by
Kim?
120 million.
Damn. Okay.
But basically, every time he posts anything on Instagram, because so many people see it, it becomes news, or quote-unquote news.
Yeah, exactly.
And so his daughter gave him a makeover lately where she painted his face before he had to go out.
That's
He's
cool.
hard to work on some new movie or some new franchise or something, working out more for Hobbs and Shaw. They introduced a new little girl character for Hobbs and Shaw. I don't know. I don't remember.
Oh.
I don't think he mentioned how she plays into the story.
He's like, she's in it.
Yeah, but basically a lot of my On the Streets now that the episodes are coming out more frequently, is just whatever I see The Rock post on Instagram, and it's good stuff.
I'm stoked for it. I see him on Instagram a lot, so I get stoked whenever he posts new stuff. He was slanging Under Armour headphones today, and I was looking at them.
All right, new lap observations. What did you notice this time around? One thing here before we take a break, bring in Austin Wolf Southern. What did you notice this time around that you never noticed before watching Furious 7 that you want to talk about now?
This is going to totally out me really badly. I didn't notice that there was a second baby storyline. Just don't remember that at all until this watch.
Oh.
I totally was like, she was like, yeah, I'm pregnant, like, we're going to have a little girl. And there's, like, this second Mia baby storyline that just, like, totally was lost on me. Like, if you had asked me that last lap, I couldn't have been able to tell you it. I would have no idea.
I wonder if that's a thing that was always in the script that gave extra weight to, Brian before Paul Walker died. That would have given extra weight to Brian joining Dom for this explosive, dangerous mission. Or if that was the thing that they wrote in to give him extra reason to sort of retire. You know what I mean? Like, because we know they used his brothers and CGI to put his face on. Like, they could have just done the phone call. Like, there's different things that they could have done. We'll find out on a future lap when we do some research.
Yeah, I have no idea. Good. What's your new observation this time?
It's not really a big one because I'm going to save some stuff for the episode, but I did notice, so, last time we were talking about how The Rock called Gina Carano woman and why Jordan found that offensive.
Yes.
He calls two different women in this movie woman. He calls Elena woman early on.
Yes.
And he calls Letty woman at the end of the movie. And I was just like, it just feels like a character trait for him, but I can still see where Jordan's coming from.
But now
it sticks in my head when somebody says it. Well, actually, I didn't notice? Maybe I missed it. Did somebody say fuck in this movie? Who gets the fuck?
I didn't catch it.
I didn't hear it either. Huh. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'll have to see if Austin remembers that, if he caught it or not. But we'll take a quick break, bring Austin in here, ask him about the fuck, give him the full family welcome, family rundown.
See who gave the fuck?
Yeah, I got some other stuff to talk about for sure. But we'll be right back here on Furious 7 Lap 2.
Welcome back to Too Fast, Too Forever, Lap 2, Furious 7. I'd like to take a second to shout out our sponsor, Kleenex. And to explain how Kleenex tissue got its name, it is necessary to go back to 1920 and the development of our first consumer product, Kotex Feminine Napkins. Our Kotex trademark was derived from the words cotton texture and met our requirements for being short, easy to say, easy to remember, and easy to explain. Kleenex tissue was originally designed in 1924 as a cold cream remover, hence the clean portion of the word. Then it became Kleenex. So thank you, Kleenex. Yeah. See, you learned something today.
I'm going to forget it. By the time we finish recording, I will have forgotten that, but I did learn something new.
Yeah, next time you're playing Jeopardy, there you go.
Yeah, I guess I'm not really in the Jeopardy mindset. I'm more in the crossword mindset because a friend of the show, Melissa Lynham, and I had a 110-day crossword streak snapped, but we are now 107 days and counting. Ugh. So by the time this episode comes out, unless something apocalyptic happens, she and I will have surpassed our previous record, but knock on wood, we will surpass that.
Good luck.
With us today to talk about Furious 7, to talk about that movie that you might need tissues for. We mentioned him before the break. He is a comedian. He is a YouTuber, a film reviewer. Joe, I think I told you, I don't know if you watched any of his, but
I watched
one thing that Mike and I both really enjoy about our guest is his Instagram story reviews that he condenses or combines
I didn't see
to a YouTube movie.
Okay.
It is Austin Wolf Southern. Hello, Austin.
Hi, I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much.
It's weird hearing myself introduced.
I also ran out of steam like 2/3 of the way through that, and I apologize. I was like, I have things to say, and I just don't know the order of words to say, so you're here, though.
This is my first introduction as a YouTuber.
Ooh. Well, now you
inaccurate.
are. You and your cats. We're all, 3 cat guys in this podcast. I can tell you that much.
I got brother cats. He's running around bitching right now, so.
Yep. I was trying to think, who could we have on that could bring, a new perspective, a new voice, maybe some new listeners. And I went on Letterboxd and I looked, and you had given this movie a very good review, at least a very high score. And I was just like, oh, Austin is a good guy who knows movies and like loves the same kind of movies that we do. Let's get him on here and talk about Furious 7. Now, Austin, what is your history with these movies? Have you seen all 8?
Yes. Yeah, this series is very important to me.
Good.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Why don't you talk a little bit about your relationship, your history with the series?
When did you see this one? When did you see the first one? I want to know everything about it.
Okay, so I saw the first 3 not in theaters. I think I just rented them just to watch them. So that Tokyo Drift was out, and then I just watched them, not like in a row like a marathon, but just watch them all like over a couple of months. So that was before the 4th one came out, and I just watched them as movies. I thought they were good. At that time I loved Tokyo Drift. I thought Tokyo Drift was maybe the best one.
Same. Yeah, I'm a huge fans of Tokyo Drift over here. Us
Yeah.
two, at least.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, and I still love it. It's not, on the same level for me. For my 4-year anniversary with my girlfriend, there was a drive-in. We were living in San Francisco, and there's a drive-in in San Jose that had like a free movie night that fell right on our anniversary. And there were, and they had 3 movie selections, and you could choose a double feature of any of the 3 movies.
Okay.
And it was The Wizard of Oz, The Fast and the Furious, the first one, and Selena.
It's a good combo.
So
I honestly think it would be kind of hard to pick 3 movies that are more different
yeah, and then
than those 3.
we also had to pick only 2 of those 3. So I really wanted to watch like all 3 of them. But you could do a double feature of any combination of those, but then they would like switch the prints around or something, and then so you could only see 2 of them. So she had never seen Fast and the Furious, and I had never seen Selena, and we had both seen Wizard of Oz. I mean, not at a drive-in, but we had both seen it. So we saw a double feature of The Fast and the Furious and Selena. And it was the greatest.
That's a great way to see it.
It was the greatest double feature of my life.
Now, Austin, I want you to know that you are living our dream. Like, we realized maybe 2 or 3 episodes ago, we're like, there's gotta be a drive-in that shows these movies. 'Cause it feels like, in a way, the best way to watch these movies.
Oh, absolutely.
Was it a completely different experience, like you being in the car?
Yeah, a little bit. It was more exciting. I definitely liked the movie more, and then just like she really loved the movie, and she is like totally in love with the series now. And I also really loved Selena. Very moving picture. That was just like, we just couldn't believe that this event just fell on our anniversary, and that we were just like so lucky, and it just
do they
happened.
mean something special to your relationship now? Do you guys like be like, oh, the new Fast and the Furious is coming out, we have to see it,
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, do you see them together like as a that's really cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we saw the 4th one, Fast and Furious, when it came out at the same drive-in. We went to see it.
Okay.
From then on, we haven't seen the drive-in again, gone back to the drive-in, but we've seen every movie since then. We've seen the Thursday night midnight show when it opens.
Oh,
Wonderful.
awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Hardcore fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know, Joe, I'm really excited. Now we actually have someone with a personal experience to relate to on the It's Our Anniversary question, which we will get to later.
I was thinking that when he said it, I was like, it's going to be really hard for him to answer that question, because he did answer it with every answer. So,
Awesome. We won't,
All right.
we won't
No
tease it
spoilers.
anymore. We'll let you know when we get to something. There's a little bit of something special. Just so you know, you have us all excited right now with your stories now. So
Okay.
we're excited for that. Okay. You've seen all 8, and now you've seen all 8 with your girlfriend. Have you seen, like, how often, like, which one have you seen the most? How many times have you seen this one? Similar but separate. Like, if you had to rank them, how would you rank them?
The ranking is so hard. I think I've probably seen the first one the most. Or no, I think I've seen the first 2 maybe like 3 times.
Okay.
Because I saw 1, 2, and 3, and then I guess I saw 1, 2, and 3 again before 4 came out.
Okay.
But we might have skipped Tokyo Drift. I feel like maybe we skipped it for some reason, just didn't have time. Because it didn't really connect to Fast and Furious when that was coming out.
Right. Yeah, that's fair.
So Fast 5 in the theater, And then
Have
I
you seen the
think-
later ones multiple times?
No, I've seen those a little less. So then we watched, I think, 1 through 5 before. No, we watched 1 through 6 before 7 came out.
Okay.
We marathon them. I thought maybe we did another marathon before part 8. I guess we didn't. I looked it up and we actually didn't. So I'd
Gotcha.
only seen Furious 7 once, and I've only seen Fate once. But all the other ones I've seen
Gotcha.
at least more than once.
You don't necessarily have to rank them, but which ones? I mean, you said you
Standout
like.
favorites, standout ones you don't like as much.
I feel like Fast 5 is the best one.
Okay.
But it's so difficult. Like, I feel bad about that because Michelle Rodriguez is not in it. And I think
Yeah.
that's such a, bad thing that hurts it so much now. And it's interesting because, at the time, I think it was the best movie. And it's also, was such a change in the series, becoming this new thing.
Yep, action franchise. That's the pivot point for sure.
Yeah, so all the players were there in the fourth one, but it just wasn't quite as over the top and ridiculous yet. And
Right.
5 really changed everything.
We talk a lot about, you brought up Michelle Rodriguez, you brought up Letty. We talk a lot on here about how little she's actually in the movies. You think of her as a central character, but she's not in a ton. And even in this one, where she says basically to Dom, I'm going to go try to remember who I am. I'm like, no, don't leave. You can't leave again. Stop leaving these movies.
Right, that's true. I mean, maybe it's just Michelle Rodriguez's presence and her, power as a presence and as a person that makes you
Right,
it makes
right.
it feel like she's a bigger part of the universe than maybe she actually is.
Not that any of the characters are less important, but in terms of the scope of the family, she's more important than even Roman or Tej. There's Dom and Brian and Letty and Mia, and those are the core 4.
Yeah.
Even if she's not in the movies, she's still a part of that core family.
Yeah, and because she's been there since part 1 too.
Are there ones in here that you don't like, or do you like all 8?
Oh God, no. No, they're all great.
Okay, good.
They're all very good.
That's important to know.
So I think
Yeah.
Fast 5 is great. I mean, Furious 7, watching it again last night, I loved it so much, but I think part of it was just that I haven't watched a Fast and Furious movie in a while. So just to put one on is I feel like I could have put any of them on and been this is the best one. Just
Okay.
just because I was so excited to be watching Fast and Furious again. But
We
I
know
do
those
think
feels, trust me. Yeah.
I do think 5 through 6 are top tier, or 5 through 7,
Okay.
I mean, are really amazing. And I think the first one is kind of underrated, and also very when I last rewatched it, I was surprised how ridiculous that one was in the best possible way, the way the later ones are. Is that movie is nuts.
It is. It's very, very of its time.
So
for sure.
Yeah.
It set the pace. It set the tone.
Yeah, so I feel 5, 6, 7, and 1 are almost tied for the top spot.
That's
All right.
fair. Yeah, I can
Very
get
good.
behind this.
And then I would go maybe Tokyo Drift, and then 8,
Okay.
and then 4.
And
Okay.
then 2?
Yeah, well, 2 maybe over 4.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a
And-
very similar list to a lot of lists that we have, so.
Yeah, and then last would be the Los Bandoleros, or whatever. Did you guys watch that?
We have not watched that yet. We have done
fine.
so little research on these movies because we're going to watch them forever. We watch every 8, or now every 16 weeks, every other week, watch a new movie. And so
Every 4 months we go through all
three
of
times a year, we're going to watch all the movies.
That's
we're
crazy.
saving research, and we're saving other things when we really truly run out of things to talk about. But yeah, we've not seen Los Bandoleros yet. I think that might either be next lap or maybe the lap after. I don't know. We'll see.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing. It's just not. It doesn't feel like a Fast and Furious movie. It's much more low key.
Makes sense. Yeah, we're excited for it.
Yeah, I think that's about right for my rankings.
All right, so now we have some real hard-hitting questions. No wrong answers here, but
Go with your gut.
hope you're ready
Go with
for-
your heart. Go with your family.
they're either-or questions. All right, so here we go. I'm going to break down Austin Wolf Southern. Would you say, Austin, that you are more of a Brian or a Dom?
Brian.
Okay.
More of a Mia or a Letty?
That's so tough because Mia's a little boring. She's the. I
okay.
like her, but she's my least favorite of the characters.
She doesn't have a whole lot to do. It's very true.
She's just the foundation, but she doesn't do much.
But I feel like I'm I am not like I don't deserve to be Letty. Like she's too cool. So
I'm gonna write that quote down. I don't deserve to be Letty.
So I'm definitely more Mia than Letty, just because like Letty's so cool.
Yeah, and if you were Letty, you would know that you're Letty. You wouldn't feel like you don't deserve to be Letty.
Oh, totally,
So you just
yeah.
totally excluded yourself from being Letty by saying you don't deserve, because she would be like, I am Letty. You know, so
You're
makes
right.
sense.
Yeah. So Mia, it's got to be Mia.
Love it. Are you more Roman or are you more Tej?
Tej.
Okay. Deckard or Owen? Are you bad guy in 7, bad guy in 6?
Jason Statham or his brother?
Probably Owen. Again, it's just like I don't feel confident enough to be Jason.
So you're just like all Jesse. You're just Jesse the whole time.
I think I'm Jesse the whole time. That's a good
I love
call.
it. Would you prefer American muscle or imports?
Well, the only car that I've ever owned is a Suzuki Swift, so
Ooh.
imports.
Yes.
Wow, you
Finally.
and Joe are the only two out of now like nearly a dozen people who have chosen imports. So
I agree.
exclusive clubs. Okay, this is really key to this movie. Corona or Belgian ale?
I really don't like beer
Okay.
across the board, but I feel like I don't know if I've even had a Belgian ale, but I feel like I can get through a Corona.
Good point.
If this was a world in which these characters were real and you went to a barbecue, like you could drink a Corona and like play the part.
Yes. Yeah.
But if you had to hang with Mr. Nobody, you might not be able to get down a Belgian ale because it's too much of a wild card.
Yeah.
Quads are
Is
heavy.
that like
I like that.
Is
Okay.
that like a darker beer?
It depends,
Or-
but yeah.
Yeah. I
What is a
don't-
Belgian
I
ale? Is
don't
that like a Belgian wheat is like a blue moon, right? Like what kind of what's a pot like Hogarden?
No, that's Belgian wheat too. The ales are like all these fucking quads, like like all the monk ones that have monks on the front of the bottles. And they're like,
That's what he was saying in this movie. Like,
Yes.
the monks got something right.
Yeah.
Okay.
know. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I don't
All right,
know.
Austin.
But yeah,
this is
Corona.
more of an abstract one. Are you more of a racer or are you more of a designer? Are you the one in the car or are you like sort of the support team?
racer.
okay.
That's confidence. That's not Jesse there. That's
Those Letty
confidence.
levels of confidence, yeah.
Here's the thing. I don't know anything about cars except
Same.
That's fine.
how to drive them. So
That actually might sway my answer when we answer these show on the relap recap. That might be my answer too, because like I'm definitely no good as a designer.
Yeah, what the yeah, fair point, man. I never thought of it like that, but yeah.
yeah, and
Austin,
I
you just
really
changed my
and I
mind.
love driving.
You love going to drive-ins.
I do love going to drive-ins. Yeah, I love to drive, but I don't know a single thing about how the car is doing what it's doing.
Austin, if you won or stole $10 million and went to a casino, would you bet it all on black or would you bet it all on red?
Red,
Are you more likely to jump a car into a plane or out of a plane?
out of.
All right.
Yeah, GPS guidance. You're not gonna be no Roman sitting up there getting ejected out of the back of the plane.
Yeah, yeah.
This has nothing to do with the movies as much, but is the word oil one syllable or two syllables?
I've heard this argument. I say 2 syllables.
Nice.
It's real tough because, like, if you try and break down the word, because normally if you break down a word with its syllables, you know which letters go to each syllable. So with oil, it's like oi is a clear syllable, but then the second
Yep.
part is just an L. And I don't think a single letter is allowed to be a syllable unless it's a vowel.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
whoa.
maybe.
Fair.
That's true. Okay.
The way I say it and the way I hear it is like oi, ol. The I, like I'm using the I in both of those. You know what I mean?
You're on the right side of history, Austin. That's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
I know I've heard that come up. I don't know where, but I know that I know you're not. It's a debatable issue in general.
So now, to kick things off, to kick off the discussion, Austin, about this movie, if you had to pick a moment or a scene or a line or an action or whatever, what would you say is the most family moment in this movie? As the series, as the franchise defines family, what stuck out to you as the most family element of this movie?
I feel like the easy answer is the ending on the beach.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the beginning of the movie. Jason Statham giving a gun to his comatose brother.
Oh, I like that. That's like an unexpected answer, kind of like the other
Yeah,
family.
that's very familial too, though.
Well, I guess it was a little different because I watched the extended version last night, which I hadn't seen. And I guess
I
Okay.
don't know if we watched the extended versions or not. I don't know if we're watching them or not. I think
Do you know what the
so.
runtime is of the extended version?
140 versus 137.
I think we're
Oh,
watching
okay.
the
So I saw the
extended.
extended one.
Yeah, we're definitely watching the extended.
One of the main differences was the introduction. Because when I started this movie, I was like, I don't remember this scene at all.
It's not in the original.
No, I think some of it
Wow.
is, but his whole speech to his brother, where he's just like talking to him.
Okay.
I think all of that was cut. And then it just like starts with him putting the gun on his brother, I guess. Like I can't remember. I can't remember what exactly happens because I didn't remember any of it. Because I definitely the whole time I was like, I do not remember this movie opening with a hospital massacre.
Yeah.
I'm looking at one of my favorite websites, moviecensorship.com, and they compare. I don't know why it's called that. I guess it might have been just like.
They mostly focus on the difference between R-rated and unrated. So it
Yes.
is stuff that was cut for, by the
Okay, that makes sense.
MPAA censorship.
You're right. So if there's a difference in 3 minutes, it says that the opening scene is 88.96 seconds longer in the extended cut. It says right in the beginning, the most noticeable difference happens when Deckard talks to his comatose brother Owen. He's more elaborate regarding their shared past as kids. Deckard says that he was the one who got punished by their father's belt when
Yeah.
Owen stole something. He hoped that being a gangster made Owen harder, smarter, and better. Deep down, he always knew that Owen would end up like this despite everything he taught him, but he's still his flesh and blood, and thus has a cross to bear. He then grabs Owen's hand while still holding Dom's cross, and lays a machine gun on his brother's chest before he leaves the hospital room, just like he does in the theatrical version. When Deckard goes through the heavily destroyed hospital, we can see that the theatrical version is fast-forwarding his way through the building. The extended seems to have more patience as it follows Deckard in real time, and certainly seems a bit more impressive that way. So, interesting.
Yeah,
interesting.
I
Okay.
feel like all of that hits a lot harder. So like maybe I saw
Yeah.
him like walking out of the hospital and he's like killed all these hospital people. I feel like it didn't like settle in with me, but seeing it like played out and just his whole like thing, it really hit me that he's walking out of the hospital. And it's just funny because he like when he first walks away, he's like, take care of my brother or I'm coming back for you. And there's two
Yeah.
people not even in focus. They're like out of focus, but you can tell that they're cowering and frightened.
Yes.
And he's looking at them, and I think that is amazing. And he's like, take care of him or I'm coming back for you. And then we basically see that he has made their job impossible. His brother is definitely going to die because he killed all the doctors and he broke all their equipment and like blew
Yeah.
stuff up. That's why maybe it's kind of a bad family moment because I feel like he killed his brother in that scene unintentionally. His intent was, trying to be loving.
And what does he say? I wrote down, rest now, brother, while I settle your one last score.
Right.
It might not be the how that is best, but it's the why. It's the what. It's the emotional core. He's got his heart in the right place, even if he's doing things
Yeah, he's-
a little out of the box.
He's doing it for his brother.
Yes,
Whatever is
absolutely.
happening, he's doing it for him.
I want to track. Can we do a necklace track a little bit right here?
I don't understand. Like the necklace we talked about in past episodes, Austin. Joe's called it. They're like the secret, the sister to the traveling pants. The necklace is just all over the place. Somehow he has the necklace here,
Owen
but then
gives it to
also
Deckard.
Sean gives it to Dom in Tokyo.
So like Owen gives it to Deckard, but he somehow gets it back to put in the car that they find Han in.
Oh, is that first scene?
Yeah, Deckard leaves the necklace in the car with Han for them to find as a message.
Owen Shaw. Owen Shaw is
No, Deckard's Jason Statham.
Yeah.
Deckard is Jason Statham. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Is that hospital scene before Tokyo Drift?
Yes, I think.
Yes.
Because it has to be in the
Well-
car simultaneously as it's in the hospital, right?
I guess. Wow.
I think
That's why I was trying to figure it out this watch. I was like, okay, there's the necklace. It starts here.
yeah,
It goes.
it's got to be. Yeah, it's got to be before Tokyo Drift.
Because he doesn't have the necklace after he kills Han in the car. He doesn't have the necklace anymore. So that's got to be
Yeah.
all right. Timeline, right?
Yeah, because this
world's
movie
longest runway. Owen falls out of the plane, goes to the hospital. For some reason, Deckard kills everyone. I guess because Owen's a criminal,
He can't
he's
really
maybe
just like go see his
under-
brother. Yeah.
he's under like lock and key, or like there's armed guards at the hospital. So he kills all of them, to get to his brother, tells his brother that he's going to avenge him, takes the necklace. But how did he get the necklace? Like, why did Owen have the necklace? Did he have it from Letty? Letty must have had it.
We need to track it again. I don't know where it came from.
But in 4, no, because in 5, Dom has it.
Yeah.
Because Dom gives it to Elena, and Elena gives it back. Or Elena has it, and he takes it back, right? So
Yeah. And then who has it in 6? Letty again?
well, somehow Owen winds up with it at the 6 because Deckard takes it from him or something.
Has to have been.
All right, next lap, Joe. That's our homework. We have to track the necklace.
I'm going to try to. Because this one really took me for a loop with this beginning scene.
Yeah.
So timeline of this though, right? World's longest runway. Owen
Yes.
falls out, goes to the hospital. Deckard kills all the guards, says that to Owen, flies to Tokyo,
Kills Han. It's
Well,
the first
then all
kill.
of Tokyo Drift happens, or it's happening
Yes.
while this is happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Goes to Tokyo, kills Han, leaves the necklace, calls Dom, which is at the end of 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the first few minutes of this movie are before that credit scene in 6.
Later in this movie, like the first 15 or 20 minutes when they're at 1327 and the house blows up, that's also the credit scene from 6.
Yes.
Because that's the call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that moment at the end of Furious 6. I did see the midnight screening, so there were no spoilers. So I don't know, did you guys see it without knowing that
Yes.
he was about to pop
and
up?
I stood up and cheered in theaters.
It's genuinely, I think, like one of the best moments of my entire life.
Well, you, me, and Jordan, our last guest, all agree on that. Like, it is pure joy, really.
I couldn't believe it. The Crank movies are like my favorite action movies, and
They're so
Okay.
they're just like so unbelievable and just like so good. And I just feel like Jason Statham is like a perfect man. He's so good. And then I mean, I think I was just excited for Crank, and I didn't even put it together till later that he was also the transporter, which like relates to cars and like
Yeah,
how
Which I've
exciting
never
that
seen
is.
those.
The first 2 are amazing. They're really, really
Okay.
good. I just didn't expect it. And then tying it in, that they tie it into Tokyo Drift, because for 4 movies, they had been doing this bizarre thing where they were all prequels to Tokyo Drift, which is so insane.
Yep.
And then they finally like tie it together, and it's like
Perfect.
Jason,
Yeah.
it's fucking Jason Statham, like, was responsible for this thing that happened in 2006 in the, movie for when it came out in our timeline. It blew my mind, and it was like, I felt I was so exhilarated. So that's another reason this series means so much, is just like how much that moment impacted me in the theater.
And we talked about, I don't love 8, but like the Jason Statham stuff in 8 is all incredible. Like whether he's
Oh, yeah.
saving the baby at the end or fighting Hobbs in the prison or
Yeah.
whatever he's doing, it's all the best parts of that movie.
Well, that was something that was great watching Furious 7 again last night, and especially with him like killing all these people in a hospital, is all I could think about was he's one of the good guys now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It comes over really quick.
Yeah, and that's how like amazing this series is. It's just like the bad guys are so bad. I think Charlize is going to be a good guy in the future.
I hope
like
so.
she's going to join the family for sure.
I really hope so.
And I just think like every like big bad guy is just gonna end up, or every like enemy is gonna end up seeing things their way and seeing the way of the family.
I would hope so.
And,
I just want to
yeah.
know who's going to be the next big. I think Idris Elba playing the next bad guy in Hobbs and Shaw sets him up to become like
Right.
part of the crew, right? Like that's what that is.
Yeah, he's got to be.
Whether they take advantage of it or not, I think the groundwork is definitely there for that. Absolutely.
If he wants to, if they want to, if everybody's in agreement, it can happen from that moment on.
Yeah, and I love the Hobbs and Shaw stuff in 8.
Are you as excited as we are for the movie?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I'm thrilled. And I know they probably won't like go this direction, at least not overtly, but like I really feel like they are in love and like should be together.
Oh.
So here, okay, so this is a good time to bring this out. So we have a theory here on the show, Austin. This is actually something that resident historian Mike Manzi, who you know from Watch the Throne and Third Time's a Charm, as we mentioned earlier, go check out Austin's other appearances on those shows. He had this theory that we have since championed every episode. We have a theory, collectively,
Yes.
that Hobbs is gay.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of sexual tension with him and Shaw. I think it makes like nothing's really. I mean, he has a daughter, but that we don't
Right.
know who the other parent is, right?
Exactly.
No, there's a history of him being in all movies, asexual, really all about business, all about getting the job done, as opposed to hitting on women. Especially as these movies go on, and now that Ramsey is there, Tej and Roman are going to spend most of the movie fighting with each other over who gets dibs on Ramsey, right?
Yeah.
In this world where women are objects
Yes.
and men just use them for their own gain or whatever, Hobbs is not that at all. There's one moment in this movie that I wish there was a little bit more. The only thing is, it's not asexual, Joe. This is actually a very sexual line.
Okay.
I don't know if you noticed this,
No.
but when Dom visits Hobbs in the hospital, and Elena's like, I found something, here's the files, and also I found Dom. He's in that shitty hospital room.
Yeah.
And he's like, the sponge baths ain't half bad, though, or something. And I was like, huh. So he likes getting a sponge bath, and I would have loved for, like, an attractive male nurse to walk by and, like, wink. You know what I mean? But, like, there's
Yeah.
we don't see a
Yeah.
nurse, I don't think. But that is a very, like, that's the most sexual I think he is in any movie, really.
Yeah.
Which... it's vague and it's not very sexual like at all, but he's just saying I like it when they put a sponge in my dick, basically. Like, it's just, it's the most sexual he's been. We don't know how he leans, but
Yeah.
that was my moment in this one that I was just like, huh,
Interesting.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, good
I
point,
hope
now that you
that-
say that.
I hope they're leaving it open for that, at least.
We
gonna
really hope
keep
so.
it- Best cases, it'll always be kind of ambiguous, but I want to see him and Statham get together so bad.
Because we've talked a lot about how this franchise is very diverse and very representative of a lot of different races and genders and everything, but like every character is straight except for Suki for her like 10 minutes, and that's even not like fully confirmed, but she's probably gay in Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yes.
But other than that, like, it's just all like men and women, just heteronormative sort of behavior.
Yeah.
And I guess as the movies go on, there's less overt sexuality, maybe, and more just like attractive bodies, but also just like, creepy guys hitting on women or whatever. But like, we're sort of constantly, like, the more we think about it, I think Joe and I are like, it's sort of surprising how little representation there is for, the LGBT community
True.
for a franchise that does so well in so many other regards.
Yeah, and I know one thing, I don't know if you guys have talked about it or what, but something that I think is kind of impressive, I guess, or good. The first movie is the only one that's been directed by a white guy.
Oh.
And all
yeah.
the other
Yeah.
movies have been directed by, John Singleton or James Wan and Justin Lin, of course.
And F. Gary Gray did the eighth one.
Yeah, F. Gary Gray. So I think that's kind of cool. So even in the director's chair, but they haven't had a woman yet. My big pitch is that Catherine Bigelow should direct one of them.
Well, have you read the theory or have you thought about how the first movie is basically just a remake of Point Break?
Yeah, when I revisited the first one the last time or whenever, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this is Point Break.
Yeah.
It's 100% Point Break.
Next lap, I think, when we do, because Mike is going to be on every episode next lap, we're going to, if we remember to, pitch a Point Break sequel that follows the structure of the next movie. So, like, how would Too Fast, Too Furious be the sequel to, or how would you make a sequel to Point Break
How would you make-
that follows in the structure of Too Fast, Too Furious or whatever, so.
How would you make 2.2 Break?
Ooh, and also name it, yeah.
A point
Yeah.
2 break.
Joe, did you have any moments in this movie that you thought where Hobbs either was that they sexualized him either gay or straight or no, or did that? Because he's not in this movie a lot. I think he had filming timing difficulties or whatever.
After you said this, I was thinking about the scene when Dom comes in, and I was thinking how it's interesting that Elena says to Dom, like, you're the only one he wanted to see.
Yeah.
At the same time, he pretty much is the only one he wants to see for, like, what he pitches, but just, like, the way she delivers it, and I was like, oh, I can't tell if that's, like, her acting or if that's, like, the script or what, but that was the only time that... And I only thought about it after the fact, after you mentioned it, so...
It's true, but that's
Yeah.
not, it's not nothing, I don't think.
Yeah.
It's not nothing, but I definitely don't feel like Dom is his type.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he wanted to see him because he's, like, into him. Like, I don't see...
Yeah, exactly.
I
That's
don't
what I'm
see
saying. But
them-
it was just like the way the line was delivered. Like after you said that, I was like, I wonder what this means.
There was something that Dom says in that scene. I'm probably reading too much into it.
No. That's the whole point of podcasts in general, I think, but especially this podcast.
Yeah.
Okay, so Hobbs asks him, he's like, if you find him, what are you going to do to him? And Dom says, words haven't even been invented yet. And I feel like that's something that people say about sex, not violence.
In a porno, like,
Yeah, that feels much more like a sexual comment than a violent comment to me, but maybe I'm wrong.
No, I don't. I think again, you're not wrong. You know, what I
Yeah,
mean? Like you're not.
But I just thought that comment was funny because it sounded like he was gonna do, I don't know, something sexual to him that hasn't even been thought of yet. I can't
like it.
I can't give an
like
example
that.
because it hasn't been,
Invented yet,
It hasn't
yeah.
been invented.
My pick for the most family moment, at least one that we haven't talked about yet, is when, after Dom hooks up with Mr. Nobody and they're like, we're going to go get Shaw, and Dom tells everybody we're leaving at dawn, and then he, it's like the middle of the night, and he says to Mr. Nobody, like, all right, it's time to go, and Mr. Nobody says, I thought you said dawn. He's like, yeah, but like, no, I don't want anybody coming with me, it's dangerous. And then out of nowhere, Brian's like, I thought you might say that. I'm just like, oh shit, like Brian knows him so well, brothers in arms, ride or die, that he's going to be there. He knows how dangerous it is, even with a wife and a kid and now another kid on the way. Brian is there for his brother, and he's like, this is what we have to do. Like, it's Owen did messed up stuff with Letty, basically abducted her from the hospital and, like, used her because she had no memory, and now we got to get him back. Dom is family, and we got to take care of our own. So that is my pick for most family moment.
Yeah, it's
Because
a good
Brian,
call.
he's there for Dom.
I was thinking about this too when you said it. The most family moment is when Dom calls Mia and he's like, how did the Buster take the news? And she's like, I didn't tell him yet. And it's just like, checking in on your family. Like, I know something. Did you tell him yet? He should know. And she's like, no, because I know you need him. And it was just like everybody kind of looking out for everyone and making sure everyone was okay. And in that sense, I was like, this is a very familial moment. So,
Yeah, I love it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Austin, do you have a pick for least family moment?
A least family moment.
It could be, it could sort of be like the road paved with good intentions, like something that is done because the character thinks it's right, but is actually, not a very family thing to do. Or it could be something like a betrayal, or it could be like anything. Again, no
I
wrong
got one.
answers.
Can I go
Go ahead,
first?
go
Yeah,
for it,
let
Joe.
me hear your guys' first.
I think mine this time was them ejecting Roman out of the plane. Because if he's really scared of heights, you'd have to be some guy. Like, they don't really need him for that, right? Like,
They really don't. I mean, he does show up at the end, but that's kind of what I was thinking is like they eject him for no reason.
yeah, so he's like petrified to jump out of the plane. And they're like, no, we're just going to shoot you out for no reason. Which is more dangerous because he's like about to miss the road. And then they're like, okay, cool, we didn't even need you anyways. We just like wanted to shoot you out of a plane. And he was like, seemed genuinely scared. So I think that's not very familiar. Like, if you had like one sibling that was like, I really can't do this. You know what I mean? You wouldn't like push them off the edge of the diving board or something.
I picked up on that too. I thought it was a little cruel.
I've got one that's not entirely dissimilar from that.
Go ahead.
Another thing that might be a little bit needlessly aggressive in a way.
Okay.
And I know that they have to do it because they're being chased, but at the end of the movie,
Yeah.
where Brian is driving Ramsey around as she's trying to hack God's Eye and shut it down.
Yeah.
And then Roman and Ted are in the other car, and the car that Brian and Ramsey are in gets a missile locked on, right? Brian's like, you gotta get out now, and they do that really cool, like, power e-brake,
slide.
power slide. She jumps from car to car. Crazy Brian bails, car blows up, whatever. This girl, you've known for like 2 days. She's a computer hacker.
She was shell shocked when you found her. By the
Yeah,
way.
she's exhibited no signs of like any athletic ability or timing, and you're having her jump from car to car, as opposed to just like she could, in theory, do what Brian did and bail out of the car, right?
Yeah.
And then she could, like, Roman and Tej could stop and pick her up. I just feel like that is, I mean, incredible for the movie, but in terms of like treating this new woman that you just sort of saved and now is part of your family, and to the point where like she says like right away, like, I trust you guys, you seem to be sort of betraying that trust by being like, okay, cool, jump from car to car, and like if we screw up a little bit, like you might be severed in half as the cars like come apart at the wrong time. Like that
Well,
just
they're
felt
not going to, but yeah.
I feel like that's
get
also kind of true of a lot of the stunts in these movies. Like, if you dissect them, you're like, oh shit, like, that's incredibly needlessly dangerous.
Yeah.
It looks awesome in the movie, but I feel like for
There's
how
an
new she
easier,
is to the
simpler
family,
way we could have done
yeah.
this.
So that just felt like, in terms of like a moment that we haven't talked about yet, that is not a very family moment. I mean, they do save her life. Their heart is in the right place, but the way that they do it is just like, oh, okay, like there's got to be an easier way. Like this,
Yeah, pretty
it's sort of
fucked.
like the infomercial, right? Like it's just like that's the black and white, that's the before. It's just like there's got to be an easier way, and like the color, like the act, like the product they're selling is just like brake pads. Like just stop and let her get out of the car. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that's a pick for my least family moment.
Okay, I have a controversial answer.
Oh, love it. Okay.
Good.
Least family moment, very end of the film, when Brian is driving off, moving on, and has left his wife and child at the beach, wherever he's going.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm thinking he's kind of like taking the exit to go back while Dom goes forward. But it does kind of seem like he just like was like, I'm out.
Oh, like he just pulled up to like say goodbye and then is turning back around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the road kind of even makes like a left kind of loopish type thing.
Well, that could also be the same kind of thing, right? Like if he, so say the scene's playing out, right, and Brian's with Mia and Jack on the beach, and he looks up and sees Dom get in a car and drive away. And he's like, that fucker didn't say goodbye to me. Like, I'm never gonna see this guy. Like, they're gonna leave me. You know, it's never
Yeah.
goodbye or whatever. And then, yeah, he chases him down the car, and that's when he's like, you think you leave without saying goodbye? Gives him that classic Brian O'Connor smile. And then I guess Dom drives off, and Brian just pulls a U-turn and comes back. Like, either way, it's a least family moment either because he's leaving Mia and Jack, or just because Dom left Brian without saying goodbye, even though it is never goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful moment in terms of like a remembrance of Paul Walker, but in the movie's universe, it's a little odd. I mean, it's the same as in the next one when Dom names his kid Brian, and it's like that Brian is still alive in this world.
Right, that's exactly what I said. Like, it's basically, he should have just pointed to the camera and been like, this baby's name is Paul Walker, you know what I'm talking about, and then like, because it's
Yeah.
the same thing.
It would have been so much better.
So awesome. We have been tracking the last two movies. Neither of us caught it this time. It might not actually happen this time. But these movies are all rated PG-13, and PAA regulations allow you to get one fuck in the PG-13 movie. Mm-hmm. Did you hear anybody say it in this movie or no?
I wasn't listening for it.
Yeah, we just didn't catch this one.
I don't think so.
Because, like, in 5, The Rock has it, Hobbs says it. In 6, Roman says it. This one, I didn't catch it, and I feel like, you know, even if I'm not, like, acutely watching the movie like I would be for a first-time viewing, I feel like it's ingrained enough in my mind that I would have picked up on it. But maybe Wes, or if somebody else out there is listening who hears, who knows where it is in the movie, shoot us an email, family@cageclub.me, let us know where it came in.
Because we just want to know who got the fuck. That's what we want to know, so.
Who got the fuck?
And when and where. When and where, if you can throw that in, too, would be nice.
Yeah, I
If
don't know
not,
if
we'll
there
catch
is
it on the
one.
next lap. I don't think so, because we
there
would
were
have heard
like,
it.
I feel like there are 3 or 4 shits. I definitely noticed some
Yeah.
shits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there was a fuck.
You know, one thing that I don't know if I ever really noticed before, it's sort of like a little bit of a throwaway line. The house blows up. Dom says he's going to Tokyo to bring Han back. Brian's like, okay, Mia, you're going to go down. Like, get out of the way. Just, we're going to protect you. We're going to put you under, like, protection, whatever. He goes with her for a while. And they're talking to them about how this is a vacation compared to that time you needed a bank safe in 2 days. Like, I was like, oh, like they're referencing that past job. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, I don't know if I ever caught that line. Because it's sort of like a throwaway thing, but I like that they reference a past job. Like, oh, like, because we talked about, right? Like, because we're like, how do they get, in that movie, they're just like, oh, we know, like, we had lives before, right? And, like, but now they sort of make note of the fact that, like, oh, no, people had to, like, figure out a way to get this safe from wherever it was to Rio, and like the exact duplicate, like it's just like a crazy, you know, thing that again that they don't really explain how, but at least they bring up the fact that it happened.
Yeah.
It's a nice callback.
When I was watching it this time, I was confused because I was like, okay, they're going to get God's Eye. And you know where God's Eye is? In a car. And I was wondering how many global hacker thieves hide memory cards in cars, because this is the second time we've had to find a memory card in a car in 2 movies in a row. And it's like, what if they were just in something that wasn't a car?
In this series?
Yeah, because
It's gotta be cars.
yeah, it has to be, but at the same time, it's like, you know, like we had it in a safe, we could have put it in a boat, we could have put it in a plane, and we get those things, but like the computer chip's always in the car, and you have to kind of like dismantle the car to get the computer chip, and I'm like, wouldn't it be easier just to have put it like in a safe somewhere? But I guess we couldn't steal the safe 5 times in a row, so.
Well, so I have a question about when Ramsey is like, I took care of it, I gave it to a friend for safekeeping. Did she give him just the chip? or did she give him, say it was like the seat, like the entertainment unit, or did she give him the whole car? Like she didn't give him the car.
Who knows? No, she just gave him the
No,
chip, I think.
she just gave him the
So
chip.
he
put it in
took
the
it
car.
upon himself to put it in a car, and he sold the car.
No, maybe.
No. The guy who bought the chip from him also bought the car in a separate transaction and then put them together.
You think?
Yeah, the
That's
prince
super
or
fucked
whatever. Because the guy who bought that, he's like a super rich guy. So I think
Right.
he's
Yeah.
and he's just like wasting this amazing car by not driving it and keeping it like high up in his tower. But he's put the car in the most secure location
Right.
that he has. So then he's like, all right, well, this is my most secure location, and now I have this chip, so I'm going to put that inside a car that is inside the most secure location.
So then, what's fucked up about that is that Ramsey gives her friend like like a flash drive. She's like, "Take care of this." He's like, "You got it, chief," and then sells that. Like that's fucked up.
Yeah, she apparently like didn't include a note, really, or like a letter. She was just like, this is a cool thing. If she just said, take care of it, that could easily be interpreted as like,
Get rid of it.
yeah, get rid of this, or
Like, set it on fire or something. Yeah.
It could mean set it on fire, but it could also mean like turn this into money.
Yeah, true.
Like
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
because maybe that's something he's done for her in the past. Is she gives him some like hacker program, and then he's the like go between who like knows
Yeah,
people, and
the
he sells
middleman.
it for her. Yeah, the middleman. It sounds like she just like did not leave instructions and just gave him a very vague take care of this, and he was like, I think she means sell it, and then I'm assuming split the profits with her, or gave her some
Hopefully.
profits. Yeah. So yeah, I think that was just a misunderstanding because Ramsey was irresponsible in how she passed it on.
It's just it's crazy. Like I feel like that's the kind of thing in these movies where there's like a pretty central plot point. They're like, well, how did this get to there? And they're just like, oh yeah, I just
yeah.
gave it to a friend, and then now it's in the building that we have to steal a car from. And it's like, oh, okay. Like I feel like this, like we've talked about in past episodes, Joe, that like when there's stretches of exposition and dialogue and actual things that explain the plot, I'm not taking notes because that's not like the things that
Yeah.
are memorable about the movies. But like I feel like I watched that more intently, and I still don't know how it happened. They're just like, oh, I had a friend take care of it, and then they go to get the friend. Like, if they just like, all right, we're going to Abu Dhabi, and it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, that's how it happens in my head.
Is this the first time we see anyone race in formal wear? Because they go from, like, when Dom is chasing after Deckard after the funeral, right?
Okay.
After Han's funeral, he's in his, like,
Suit.
formal funereal garb, sort of, right? Like he's just like,
Yeah.
because they show a shot of him like racing in like in a button down. I was like, that's so not Dom.
The only time I ever think we ever gotten close to that is when Han and Roman are wearing police uniforms and racing
Okay.
in the last one. I think that's as close as we've gotten. Because I would think that's pretty formal. You know what I mean? Like a full like cop's outfit.
Sure, yeah, different kind of formal, but definitely formal. Because it
Yeah.
feels like they're mostly just like in like wife beaters, or they're just in
Yeah, tank
just
tops.
like just shirts or tank tops. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But to see him in
No
like
sleeves.
a button down, I was just like, oh, huh, okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that's not something that like I would be able to give any kind of reference to. Like the fact that Joe, you thought of the cop stuff was better than I could do. I can tell you that. Oh, okay. I have a question.
Yes.
Roman has that great speech in the middle of this movie where he's like, "You all wanted me to break into a police station, fine. Then you asked me to stop a tank. I wasn't happy about it, but I did it. I came with this brilliant idea to shoot down one of the largest airplanes ever. I shot that shit out of the sky, all this different stuff, blah 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 blah."
Yeah.
Brian makes a joke about no knees Denise.
Oh my God, I wrote this down.
And
yeah.
I googled no knees Denise. It's got to be sexual or something, but it feels like there's nothing on the internet that explains what this is.
I wrote this down to talk about.
We had a girl from another school that they called oral coral. You know what I mean? It's just a
Yeah, I have an idea of what oral coral does.
Yeah,
no knees. Denise is like
What does it mean to not have knees?
right.
What is the implication there? Because he's saying it
I'm thinking
as-
she gives upright blowjobs, is what I think the implication is.
But how is that? What? Like that doesn't make any sense.
Is she a little person?
No, I think that she just she makes you stand or like sit on a bed or something.
That's such a long way to get there.
And she just keeps her legs outstretched? I don't... What do you mean?
No, she just likes to be at eye level. Like she just makes you
No,
like
I
stand
don't-
higher.
That
But
doesn't.
she doesn't
make,
kneel.
That's not. Well, that's not eye
I'm
level
not
then.
following it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm saying she doesn't kneel during blowjobs, and I think that was the
Right, like I
conversation.
maybe, but
And it's
again,
also the
that's,
kid shit. You know what I mean? Like if you're talking about like high school prom, who knows what? Yeah, okay.
But I still feel like there's got to be like it is the most baffling thing, and I never noticed it before. But it's the most
Yeah.
baffling thing. And Austin, I'm glad that you picked it up too because it's just like I don't know what it means.
Because he says
Yeah.
he says it. He definitely says it as a dig.
Yeah.
Like you were so low down that you like hooked up with someone who didn't have knees.
Right.
I don't think she doesn't have knee. You guys are really
They
hung
call
up.
her No Knees Denise.
Yeah,
No
but
knees
it has to
knees.
mean something else. It's not that she didn't have knees.
But that's not an expression.
It's not an expression. Number one. Number two. Whoever Chris Morgan, whoever wrote it, right? Like it means
I have to look
something
up
to
Urban
him.
Dictionary. Hold on.
I looked it up and it's just like somebody who doesn't have knees. Like there's not.
Really? That's it?
If you Google No Knees Denise, it's like, so who's the No Knees Denise in your group? It's just like, well, what does that mean? Like that doesn't explain.
The knee represents common sense, meaning you have no common sense. I don't really know.
That makes less sense.
Yeah, that was the top definition. There's only 10 up and 2 down, so who knows? That could have been like in one group of friends.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you type no knees, Denise is the thing that comes in after it.
I don't get it. I think it's something that they were trying to like trying to make up a sexual name that passed PG-13 standards.
Good point. Yeah.
So I think that's
Yeah.
where it came from, but it does not make sense, and I am obsessed with No Knees Denise. She's
But I feel like you could come up with like so many more like relatively tame nicknames that would be more overtly sexual than No Knees Denise. It also doesn't exactly rhyme.
No, it doesn't. I kind of like it though. It
It's-
flows.
No, I love it because
It has good mouthfeel.
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
yeah, I love it so much, and I was definitely intending to bring it up and
Good.
find out what your guys' interpretation was.
And I never heard it before, so I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
know.
I mean, I don't know if
knows,
you
man?
watch with subtitles, but I always watch everything with subtitles, so I didn't just hear
it's
it,
very
but
clearly
I
No Knees Denise.
I could confirm he definitely does say No Knees Denise.
Yeah, he does. He does. That wasn't. Yeah, that part I got. I heard it. It was just.
I was dying to know what other people thought that meant.
Write in. If you have a guess on what no knees Denise means, write in to family@cageclub.me.
Family at CageClub.me.
Send us a picture of your no knees or your knees.
So I have another question about a line, and this is Joe. This is something that we talked about last time because we talked about how much I hate her performance in this movie. And Austin,
Okay.
you might like her because you like things about 15 minutes. We talked about it on Watch the Throne that Mike and I did not. But Ronda Rousey in this movie is,
Awful.
I think, the worst performance in any of the 8 movies.
I think she single-handedly wrote her ticket out of Hollywood with this acting.
No, but she was in the Entourage movie after this.
Well, it's the Entourage movie, so
Well, she also got to play herself,
yeah.
which she basically is doing here. But she says a line that I think we talked about last time.
Okay.
She's talking to Michelle Rodriguez. She says, "Thank God you showed up. These parties bore me to death." And she says it like it's supposed to be a joke. Is it a pun? Because I guess the joke is that she's going to kill Michelle Rodriguez, but like, I'm gonna bore you to death. Like, it feels like there's something missing there, and I don't know if it's
Yeah.
the writing. I don't know if it's Ronda Rousey's inability to deliver a line. I don't know what it is, but I want to talk about the line. Thank God you showed up. These parties bore me to death.
I mean, it's kind of just matter of fact. So she does maybe deliver it like it's supposed to be a joke, and maybe the joke is merely who could get bored at such an amazing party. Because, like, Roman is having the time of his life, and he's, seeing these gold women or whatever, and he's like, they do this every night, I gotta move here. So I think it's supposed to be, like, we're supposed to be envious that they're even at this cool party.
Yeah.
And then her joke is just like, this isn't for me. I like to fight.
I'm a fighter.
So it's not much of a joke, or it's just something totally matter of fact that means nothing, and she's just like, genuinely like, I really am happy to see you here because I'm bored.
Yeah, maybe.
So let's fight.
Yeah, I have no idea. I'm very confused by it.
Yeah, but it's not
It-
it's not a great
It's everything.
performance.
No, it's all of the delivery. Like all of her lines are just like bland. It's weird.
But she's only there to fight. Like, I don't think she's worse than Tony Jaa is in this movie.
No, but they don't give Tony Jaa, like, lines.
They don't give him he has a couple, not many, but he's similarly, like, I kind of wanted more from him if they're gonna put him in it at all, but he's just there to fight a little bit.
But I also think that there's a difference, maybe there's not actually, but I think that there's a difference because it feels like this is like stunt casting with Ronda Rousey, as opposed to Tony Jaa is like, this is what he does. You know what I mean? He's like a martial artist. He's in the Raid. He's in these movies. Or he's in this movie, and he's there to fight and be like a badass. Like, that's why Ronda Rousey's there. But she's there not because she's like a movie. Like, it's not like she's Zoe Bell, right? Like, stunt double from Kill Bill or like the star of Death Proof. But she's not there because she's like a badass movie person. She's there because she's a famous fighter. And I think there's extra attention paid to her, I guess, in a similar kind of way, but completely different in terms of the desired results. But just like how Joe, our girl Emily Ratajkowski, is now trying to become an actress.
Do you say she's now trying to become an actress?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, she's in more things. Like, she's been in more movies in the last, like, year than I think in her entire career leading up to this point. But, like, they're putting her in movies not because she's, like, a beautiful actress, but because she's a beautiful model who wants to be an actress. And I feel like she just sticks out more when she's not good, the same way that Ronda Rousey does, because you're expecting something from her, maybe, or like, there's like a reason that they put her in here, right? Because there's so many beautiful models in Hollywood that you could cast in the Emily Ratajkowski part, or there's so many like badass fighters who could deliver a line better than Ronda Rousey. That feels like, she's in this for a reason, and then it's like, no, they just want to like have another name that like Ronda Rousey, through her millions of Twitter followers or whatever, can be like, I'm in this movie, go check it out. So
I think so too.
Yeah, and it's just taking a chance. I mean, that's kind of the same as like Dave Bautista appearing in movies, or
John Cena.
Yeah, John Cena.
The Rock. Even back in the day, The Rock.
Well, yeah, The Rock. And those chances like paid off. I mean, I don't know. Maybe their first movies are a little clunky. Those just like worked out. I mean, wrestling, I guess, is a little different because there is more of a performative aspect of it.
Yeah, it's entertainment. Yeah.
And you are playing like a character already, but I know there's at least one male MMA fighter who like started doing movies, and I guess maybe it didn't work out because I can't even think of who it is.
I mean, we were talking last episode, Joe, with Gina Carano. Like, Gina Carano is not always great in movies, but she's good in Fast and Furious 6. She's great in Haywire, and she's not in a ton of things, but she can be really good when you're given the same thing, saying like the right thing to do. And it's the same way.
Yeah.
We talked about this on Cinemakers when we covered Steven Soderbergh, where like he took Gina Carano, put her in Haywire, or like the same thing with Channing Tatum, and really gave him a bunch of breaks. But like he also wrote a movie around Sasha Grey. Like, the Girlfriend Experience is just like Sasha Grey wants to be an actress, and it's her as like an escort, and it's like not crazy far from her career as a porn star, but like it's this in a way stunt casting, but seeing like, I guess like you're saying, Austin, like you could get lucky. Maybe this could be like like a breakout star.
Yeah, they were a star in their field, so they must have something, that draws people to them. So I think that's the gamble, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And yeah, Gina Carano, I don't know how much she's a like better actress, and I also don't really, I'm not great at judging acting ability, but I feel like she has a little more charisma maybe, and that's what makes it work.
I think so. I also think that this is not a great part for Ronda Rousey to show off anything, right? Like, it's just
because she's the fighter, and she could be fighter number 3 in the credits, but then they make it Ronda Rousey, so they give her some lines, and then you don't really get anything. She's kind of in this in between where like you don't get any real acting. The fighting is kind of dumbed down to give her lines, and then you're in this in between place.
Yeah,
for me,
if something was more tailor made to her, I'm sure we would appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah, it seems like they just added this character in when they realized she would be on board, as opposed to them like giving her a character.
Because I think, like, Joe, you're right. Like, I think she could be credited as just like boss fighter, or like boss, or like
Lackey
leader
number
of the fighters
7
or whatever. Yeah. The only other note that I made note of this time around that I don't think we covered last time, I don't know if you noticed, Joe, but at the end, when Roman and Tej are driving around, we get a Roman saying, "These boys hungry."
Oh no, I missed it, and I do love him saying hungry in the first.
And then Tej says something back to him like, and they ain't ready for what we got either. Something like that. Like he plays into it a little bit. So but we did get a
Spicy.
hungry because we got hungry a couple times.
Yeah.
Going all the way back to Too Fast, Too Furious. Austin, what else do you want to talk about with this movie? What other notes did you take, or what other things do you love or not love, or whatever?
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to anything I wrote down, really.
Well, we got nothing but time.
Okay. Well, I wrote down that Dom is very proud of himself for inventing race wars.
He is.
Yes.
It's his baby.
But just that it's called Race Wars is
Oh
hilarious.
yeah. They might have changed. They should have pivoted at some point between now, like 99 and now. They should have been like,
Yeah.
the universe race or something like that.
By 2015, I feel like they could have made a change to that. Because it's not just if they just referenced it and they went to Race Wars, but just that he's just like, we invented Race Wars. That just sounds a lot crazier.
Like my grandfather was a grand dragon. We invented race war.
Yeah. So there's a line that I thought was funny, another Dom line, where it's him and Letty talking, and she, doesn't have memory, and she's telling him, she's like, "You're looking at me with 15 years worth of memories, and I can't give that to you." And then she says, "I have nothing, like I've got nothing." And he says, "You've got me." But what she's saying is, "I've got nothing to offer you."
But time?
No.
Sorry, I had to throw it in there. You just
Yeah.
You set me up so well for it.
I did. So she's saying like I have nothing to offer you in this relationship, and he says, "You've got me to offer me." Yeah, it just seemed like he wasn't really listening to her. Let's see. So I wrote down no knees to knees.
So we got to something that you wrote down.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. Oh, I love when we get to Lucas Black, and that he ages 9 years in 2 seconds.
I did notice this. So I was going to say, he's obviously 35 in the first one playing a high school kid in Tokyo Drift, right? And then you get to him here, and he has like full receding hairline, like all the way back to like the back of his head. And you're just like, you're not 19. Like you're not 18 even, right? He has to be like 17 for the part. So it's like, oh God, you're so old.
Just that they use the archive footage. So you see the transition, because when you first see them, they're using Tokyo Drift footage, and then it cuts to the new footage, and it's like, this is not 30 seconds later.
I want to say two things about that scene. Number one, I don't know if I ever really thought about it when I watched this movie again, but I like that we go back to Tokyo again with the DJ Shadow song. I think it's the same one, right? Like, it's the same one on Sean's first day of school, the DJ Shadow song, and then here, when we go there, it's sort of like we're returning home with the music. So it's the look, it's the characters, it's the song.
Yeah, because once the song comes in, even if it's at a different pitch or whatever, you're like, oh, cool, we're going back to Tokyo. Yeah.
And number two, Sean is the new Drift King, which I don't think we really ever paid enough attention to in the past. Do you just become, like, is Drift King like heavyweight champion of the world? Like, if you
it's a
beat
belt.
Drift King,
Yeah.
you become Drift King?
Yeah, that's exactly how it works.
Okay.
If
so
you beat the Drift
because
King-
he won that race down the mountain.
Didn't he
he's not
kill
Drift
DK
King.
off the mountain?
Well, no, DK fell down the mountain, but I don't think DK died. I think DK just had to leave town. I think that was the thing, right? Whoever loses leaves town.
Okay, well, if the original Drift King gets pushed out of town by some kid, you're definitely the new Drift King.
And by his disappointing Hattori Hanzo elder family member, right? Like,
yeah.
but yeah, so like Sean is Drift King. Like that's, I wrote down again. I don't know if I can say this word. I wonder how Tokyo feels about having a gaijin as their Drift King. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it'd be kind of weird, right?
Times they are changing. What else you got, Austin?
Yeah. And I was surprised. I thought they would weave him in a little more. I thought
I want Bow Wow back so bad.
We want Twinkie back. We want Sean. We want everybody back.
Yeah, they should bring more people back. But I thought he was a good character, and like I wanted a little more than just like a scene.
We're kind of on the outskirts of that though, because generally speaking, everyone hated Tokyo Drift.
Right.
So for them, I think that cameo was like enough to give us like to wet our whistle, the people that like Tokyo Drift. But if they would have made Sean a character again, I could see that like a lot of people would be like, God damn it, this again, like.
Yeah. But I'd rather see him than Scott Eastwood in 8.
Well, that's true, but also like in 8, you know, like how when they're having like that big, basically all hands on deck in New York, and that guy that he like beats, that Dom beats in Cuba, in Havana, is now all of a sudden in New York helping out. Like, why is he there? Like, he has no affiliation with the family. Like, why can't they call in Sean from Tokyo? Like, that would mean more.
Yeah, definitely. The plane scene, the centerpiece action scene where they
Yeah.
they jump out of a plane inside cars, I think is like the best thing that could be done with cars, like in this franchise and in this world. Like, I don't know.
Which way is up from here kind of thing? Like, how do you top this?
Yeah. So I definitely like had that thought, like going into Fate, they can't top this, and that was kind of topping where they like jump off the cliff in the car in Fast Five, and this was like going to the next level, and it's like, now what? And I feel like it's so perfect, and it's really well, the way they put it together, the way it's shot and edited, it's like really clear what's happening and really well done, and it's just so perfect. And I think it's a really like perfect moment in action cinema and cinema in general. I don't think it can ever be topped. Like, that's in a franchise about fast cars, this is the best thing that you can possibly do, is have them parachute out of an airplane.
I mean, it's got to be in space, right?
Gotta go space.
I
mean, of course I want them to go to space, but I don't think, like, stunt-wise or just, like, visually, it'll still have anything as amazing as that. Like, what a fucking amazing concept, and how well they pulled it off. And I just wanted to rave about that scene.
Yeah, no, definitely.
It's so good. Oh, and then I liked later in the movie when they're jumping from building to building in the fast car, and Brian says, don't do this, cars don't fly. And I was like, where were you 30 minutes ago?
Well, do you remember? I mean, at the very beginning of the movie,
he says
when his son is playing with a toy, right? And he's like, cars flying. He's like, cars don't fly. So he just got that in his head, like, cars don't fly. He's stuck to the ground.
That. But I just thought for those things to be in the same movie, like, almost didn't work.
That's true. That's very true. Also, given the fact that like there were cars jumping in and out of like the plane in the last movie too, like, it's not like these movies are far. Like, the idea of planes and cars together is like a new concept to these movies.
That's true.
Exactly.
Vin Diesel's face during those car jumps, like during the building jumps in the car, I feel like it's a face we've never seen from him before, where he doesn't look confident, where he looks genuinely scared, and like he looks genuinely unsure of himself. And I think it's like the best acting Vin has done in this series, but like he looks really freaked out, like he doesn't know if this is going to work out, and we have never seen that from his character.
Because I feel like he's also unsure of himself. I feel like at the end with the helicopter when he hits the NOS and goes up, because he's like it feels like he like had all the best intentions again and went up there, and then like he hooked the bag of grenades, and then like it's like, oh no, I didn't think this part through, and looks genuinely panicked when he's trying to like land the car and trying to steer the car in midair, which I don't know if that's a thing you can do or not.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I guess we just see more of his panic face in the building jumping.
You're right, because we don't see him too shocked or like scared, like unsure of himself in other places. I have to pay more attention to it.
Yeah.
We don't know when these scenes were shot, right? So I'm trying to figure out if he's thinking like, I don't know how this is going to look without Brian in the car.
I think it is something like that. I think it is something like...
Or do you think it's him actually acting, being like, okay, now look scared shitless because you're jumping a car between building? Like,
yeah,
I can't tell if it's like... If he's like, oh man, like I don't know how this is gonna turn out, like kind of like uneasy about the filming of it, because he's directly involved in this, so it's like, is this gonna sell? Like, is it gonna sell in the sense that like you believe Brian's here and maybe he is not, or maybe he was, because I don't know like at what point he's in the scenes or not in the scenes. So
yeah,
I'm thinking it might be some of that too.
I bet it is something like that, but I mean he may be using that intentionally for the scene. Yeah, he may be channeling that on purpose, so it might be both.
Yeah.
So earlier in the movie, where he's like very sure of himself, is the scene where he's surrounded by like all the cars in the desert, and he has Ramsey like in the seat, and then he just like drives it off the cliff with no plan.
Well, that's when he's in his death-proof car. which makes sense. He's in the Kurt Russell's in the movie, right? Like, because he's just like, put on your helmet, and then he straps in and just like, and I forgot that like earlier in this movie he's like, I want the hybrid of this and this. I guess it's for that explicit reason, to fall down a mountain that he knew he was going to do. I don't know. I love
Makes
it.
sense.
Yeah, I guess I just like didn't connect things because the way it felt was just like he had no plan, and then he just turned and he tells her to put a helmet on, and then is just like, "Don't worry about it, I'm immortal," and then drives off the cliff.
The crazier thing is that he has a plan. It's like the question is like, how did he know that plan?
Yeah.
Dom, man. That's why he's Dom.
Well,
Yeah.
he also says something when they're planning the whole thing, and Tej is like, I actually have an idea for how we're going to get in there, referring to like jumping out of the plane. And then Dom says, like, they're talking about the cars or the weight of the cars or something, and he's like, this time it's not just about being fast. But he says it as if he knows Tej's plan of jumping out of the plane. That has not been spoken out loud yet.
Yeah.
Like he just like read his mind or something, or he's just saying it in general, but he says it in a way that implies he knows what the plan, like he channeled that idea. It was actually his idea, and he like inceptioned it into Tej.
Well, what if we find out in a future movie that there's like a Stephen King-like twist where he is unmoored from space and time and is actually from the future?
Oh.
I'd buy
Dom
it.
has a future. He has a DeLorean in the garage that we didn't know about.
No, I'm just saying, like, maybe like there's an alternate reality where like Dom died in the first movie, or like when he drove off at the end of the first movie, he actually died, and then like this is all like a broken mind splinter of Brian O'Connor, and that's why it makes no sense that he keeps going back to the cops, because like his reality is just crumbling because he tried to save his friend, he couldn't, and the only thing that he knows.
And it's like Shutter Island, and he's trying to like live through it.
I feel like this is a little close to the like how did this get made, Jacob's Ladder thing that they always
It
go
is
back
a little
to.
bit, yeah. I feel like even if it's not Jacob's Ladder, like none of it actually happened. Like just the fact that like Dom could be from the future, because like
I
otherwise,
like
how
that
would
better.
he know
Yeah.
about Tej's idea?
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, I buy that more, that he is
And that
from
could
the
also,
future.
in a way, explain how he's able to like survive the crazy end of 6, the crazy end of 7, the middle of 7, and the crazy end of 8, right? Like it's all like these death-defying stunts, and he's always almost for sure gonna die, and then somehow survives because he, maybe it's kind of similar, I guess, maybe to Death Proof, where like every time Kurt Russell like pushes a cigarette lighter in or whatever he's doing, it like reverses till he gets like the perfect kill. Like maybe he keeps doing it and then rewinding it so that he lands the car in the right way. Like I don't know. Maybe he's got Forza
Yeah.
Motorsport rewind ability.
I always just felt he was just immortal, and they were all kind of immortal, I guess, until they die, because some of them die.
That was just a great explanation. I liked it. They're all immortal until they die.
Right. When the rock is blown out of the window and like falls on the car, like
Yeah.
he should be dead, but he just broke his arm, I guess,
Yeah.
or didn't, because then he flexes out of the cast, which is also one of my favorite moments.
It's so good.
But yeah, there's a lot of falls that like almost all of them take that they should not survive.
Well, there's clearly no fall damage in this universe. Is what the
They have gravity turned off.
the video game equivalent is just no fall damage, gravity turned off. It's Master Chief jumping from very high. It's whatever they want to do.
Yeah,
exactly.
maybe it's that. But does Giselle die by falling?
Giselle sacrifices
engine.
herself. No, she doesn't fall into the engine.
She doesn't,
No. She shoots the guy, and he gets kicked into the engine.
but she falls.
She falls, but she also falls less far than Owen does. Like Owen takes a deathly fall and then just gets into a
Yeah.
coma in the hospital. Giselle falls from still a fall that would kill a normal person. Doesn't fall as far as Owen, but dies.
I guess that must have just been like a decision that she made, that it was her time.
It was her time to do Wonder Woman. Is basically what her time was.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, amen.
Yeah, I kind of wish that it was just across the board, like they can survive falls and it takes something else to kill them. Because, like, Han gets in a crash and then is shot in the head. So that's, like, more definitive. But, yeah, I kind of wish something else had happened to Giselle that made it more...
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, she could be alive. We don't know.
Well, there is that. They could always bring her back. Like, I mean,
We
yeah,
talked in the
Letty
last
was supposed
episode,
to be dead.
Joe. At the end of the movie,
Yes.
they're all worried about Dom. They're like, "Where's Giselle?" But like, they are. We figured that somebody did the math online, right? That the runway is like 27 miles long. Like,
Yeah.
they lost Giselle 20 miles ago,
Yeah, definitely did. It was a long run afterwards.
right? So she may not be dead. I mean, she is dead, but she might not be dead.
She might have got rescued by someone. Like, what if there's like some plane ambulances or something?
Giselle comes back.
I bet she is still around. That would also tie up a loose end continuity thing because Han in Tokyo Drift is not mourning. He is not in mourning for the death of his girlfriend. Because if Tokyo
No, because
Drift takes
he has
place
the picture.
after.
He has the picture of her in the car.
In Tokyo Drift?
But not in
Yeah.
Tokyo Drift.
But in this one, afterwards, we learn that he had the picture of Giselle
Sure.
with
Right,
him
but
in
Tokyo
the car.
Drift takes place immediately after this movie, and he does not seem like he just lost someone.
No, because you're trying to get over it, man. He has to, dance with
But if-
Russian models.
But if you watch it with that in mind, it's clear that they didn't know what was coming.
Right. No,
yeah.
right.
He's not playing it like he just lost someone, but maybe he knows that she's not dead.
I love
Maybe.
it. And I do think that sort of follows the Game of Thrones rule where, like, if you don't see them die on screen, they're not actually dead, so...
I don't think she will come back because she's Wonder Woman now, but I feel like that character is still alive.
Anything else you want to say about this movie? We've got a couple games to play.
I have a couple quick thoughts that I had when I was watching this. This movie could have done really well with a famous DJ cameo in the party scene, like a la Iron Man 2.
Who's the Iron Man 2 DJ?
DJ AM is in Iron Man 2.
Isn't he? Who's in this one, though? Isn't there somebody... You gave me shit for not remembering it last time. I didn't even pay attention to it this time.
No, I think it was like, it looked like his computer said T-Pain, but I don't think it is T-Pain.
Are you sure? Because you like, yelled at me last time. You're like, you didn't notice who that was?
No, I don't think
T-Pain.
so.
Yeah, no, T-Pain, I think he's... No, that's him.
Okay, but I mean, I want like another DJ, not T-Pain. That's what
Okay.
I'm saying. And we could use a few more of these like party scenes where you just like have a DJ pop in. I mean, I'm a big fan of We Are Your Friends. I want some more DJ cameos.
What was the movie where there's a party on the beach? Is it Jump Street? It's 22 Jump Street, where Diplo is just DJing a party on the beach.
Yeah, and the other one was on the note of like the worst scenes ever in this movie. We talked about Ronda Rousey's acting, stuff like that. The scene where Brian and Letty are trying to give Dom CPR near the end
yeah.
is like, they did that in one take, and they were just like, I guess that works. Like, Brian's like, no, like, hold his head back. And she's like, no, don't touch him. And they just, like, yell at each other for a while and then just, like, give up on the CPR. And Letty just, like, she memories Dom back into life.
Yeah, and Brian even says something like, very, like, passive-aggressive, like, oh, just keep breathing air into him or something. Like, it's just, like, this weird... It does feel, like, very chaotic and rushed.
It was just, like, I was like, oh, man, this scene was bad. And, like, I didn't remember it. And, like, it's pretty rough to watch again. And I was like, we should have maybe reshot that one at least once with, like, a different tone a little bit and try to figure it out. But they didn't seem to care. Just ran through it. But, yeah, those were all the things that I had in my notes. We covered all the rest of them while we were talking.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Well, Austin, are you ready to find out which Fast and Furious character you are?
Oh, I already know. I'm No Knees Denise.
I do not think she's an option.
Oh, I hope I get.
But
No
God,
Knees
now we need to
Denise.
add her to ours, Joey. They'd be like, how many knees do you have? 1, 0?
It's just 1 or 2, and then if somebody writes in the answer of 0, be like, oh, you're no knees to knees, I guess. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like an Easter egg in the thing. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, that's so genius. Okay, perfect. It just like supersedes every other option. Okay.
We found this quiz. Joe found this quiz online. There's 13 questions. We don't know what certain answers mean. If you have a question about it, feel free to ask. We might not know the answer because it all sort of feels like nothing. There's no rhyme or reason for a lot of this. But we are going to play which Fast and Furious character are you?
So there's like a quiz you found online.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just like a Teen Vogue quiz or whatever. Like
Yeah.
which Disney princess is your best friend?
All right.
Cosmo
Yeah. Great.
magazine type quiz. Yeah.
All right, Austin. First things first. How fast do you like to go? NASCAR, roller coaster, Vespa.
Roller coaster.
Pretty common.
Second thing second. How furious are you? Hulk, Sam Kinison, Furious Styles. Sam Kinison, the comedian. Furious Styles from Boys in the Hood.
Well, Sam Kinnison's fury is pretty much entirely directed at women.
Oh.
He's the worst. He's a monster, and fuck him forever.
No, so we weren't like really sure about his fury. So you just cleared that up for me at least. So.
Oh yeah, he's extremely hateful and misogynistic, and he I watched one of his specials like around the time I first started doing stand up, and literally thought like he kind of inspired me in a way, because I was like, I want to do the exact opposite of this.
Oh, okay.
Oh God. Okay.
You know, there are a lot of like comics who I respect and who are not horrible people,
Yeah.
who really like him and like get something out of his work, and he has a lot of charisma, and he was like a clever writer, a horrible person, like a terrible person. Like I kind of get what people see in him, and how he was like, certainly how he
Yeah.
stood out. But I mean, this is another conversation, but not him.
Some Hulk or Furious Styles?
I mean, I don't remember Boys in the Hood well enough.
It's questions like these that have inspired Joe and me to, between laps 2 and 3 of the show, we're going to write our own quiz.
Kind of solve.
Try to do it better,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we love the idea of it, but it's difficult to actually kind of predict.
Some of the questions are great. Some of them are interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I need to rewatch Boys in the Hood since it is from the director of Too Fast, Too Furious.
John Singleton? Yep.
I'm going to go with Hulk.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry for that very long answer.
No, it's okay.
Who would you risk your life for, Austin? Family, friends, anyone, or no one?
Family.
Choose a one-liner. Why don't you just pack it up before I leave tread marks on your face? I'm a boy who appreciates a good body regardless of the make. When are you going to give Martin Luther King his car back? He's like gravity. Everything just gets pulled to him. There's never nothing. There's always something. Ride or die. One that I wish that I could add today. Who do you think you are? No knees, Denise?
God, I like the, he's like gravity. Things are pulled to him, because I feel like that's the only one that makes sense.
Okay.
Okay. That's fair.
That's the worst answer, because it's the only one that makes sense. So I'm going to go with there's never nothing. Is that what it is?
There's never nothing. There's always something.
Yeah, that's very poetic.
I don't know where that is in which movie, but I need to pay attention for it.
There's a couple of those, like the tread marks one we caught.
We know,
The Martin
yeah.
Luther King his car back we caught.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, I don't get that one, but maybe that's just, do I just not know cars? I don't know enough about what Martin Luther King drove.
Austin, somebody you have a crush on is standing over there. What will you do? Nothing, let them come to me. I'm going over there. Stand here and stare at them. I'm out of here.
I'm out of here.
You just run away.
Yeah.
That's a good answer.
You
Yeah,
are
just
giving
leave.
answers I don't think we've had so far. Okay. This
Yeah.
one has a visual component. Choose your ride. 2010 Alfa Romeo Giulietta. 2009 Dodge Challenger SRT 8. Plymouth Roadrunner. Gurkha LAPV. Or 2010 Koenigsegg CCXR.
I like the Giulietta.
All right.
Oh wow, we've never had anybody pick that one.
Looks like
It's a cool
I
car
mean,
for sure.
It looks like just a very practical car.
What if he like unlocked, like what if he was no knees Like there's like the 6 characters we know about, and then there's just like some random ass character. Like that would
Yeah.
be cool.
What's who you said earlier? Joe, I can't remember his name right
Jesse.
now. Jesse, yeah, Jesse.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll get Jesse.
Which of these opposites do you tend toward? Positive or negative?
Positive.
How do you feel about lying? I'm a big liar. I lie sometimes, no big deal. If I do lie, I feel bad about it forever. Call me Honest Abe.
Yeah, honest Abe.
Okay.
Yeah, because if I lie, I feel bad about it forever.
Well, I already clicked on Honest Abe, so you try
Yeah.
not to lie, though, so okay.
Yeah, honest.
How do you say goodbye to someone you love, Austin? Remember
This is
them
my
every
favorite
day.
question.
Turn your back and walk away. Pour your 40 out. You don't.
I think you gotta walk away.
Oh,
Wow, okay.
okay.
I mean, I'm assuming there's a reason you're splitting.
Choose an action hero. John Kimball from Kindergarten Cop, not that picture. John Matrix from Commando. James Carter from Rush Hour. Nikita from La Femme Nikita. John Rambo. Or The Rock as Hercules.
I'm a Nikita.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it Who Am I, or just like who's?
Just choose one.
Who I like.
And that's
Just
you
choose
know,
one.
that's
That
where
was
your
just
heart
pick.
went.
Okay. Yeah, I'll still go Nikita.
What's your favorite article of clothing? My dark jeans, my favorite wife beater, my too tight t-shirt, my old sneakers, my leather jacket.
I'm gonna go with your old sneakers.
My old sneakers. Okay.
Awesome. We teased this about an hour and a half ago. It's our anniversary. What are we doing? Candlelit dinner for 2 somewhere dark? let's just go somewhere dark. Let's drive.
Yeah, let's drive to the drive-in to watch The Fast and the Furious.
All right, let's drive.
In the dark.
Last one, Austin. Last visual component. If you were to have your photo taken, what would the background be? Desert,
Ooh.
blue sky, garage, city lights, an explosion.
City lights.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, shit.
What? Oh, we get a new one?
We did not, but we have a match. Austin, you matched me. You also
Okay.
matched Joe's wife, Rachel. You are Brian O'Connor.
Okay.
Fearless and reckless with the blind spot when it comes to the opposite sex. You're cool under pressure. You welcome it actually. I think it's a typo, I don't know. You welcome it actively? I don't know. And respond to a fast lifestyle that keeps you on the move. You love
And-
gambling, you'll stand up for what you believe in, and you drive like the wind
blows.
Okay.
Perfect.
I like
There
that.
you go.
I like that
Brian
description.
O'Connor.
Has anyone gotten like Tej or Roman or?
So there are Roman. We don't think Tej is a character. So we think that there are 6. There we for sure have gotten Brian and Mia and Roman and Dom and Hobbs.
Yeah.
And I played the quiz on my own just to see if Letty is a character. Because we're like, Letty has to be a character.
Yeah.
And I was able to get Letty. Like picking the right answers, I got Letty the first try.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think that there's a character beyond that. If
Okay.
you're out there and you're listening and you got a different character, email family@cageclub.me, let us know what you got. But, we're going to write our own quiz, like you're saying, Austin, but we're going to have, like, as many answers as we realistically conceive possible. And,
Yeah.
because, like, there's so many characters
Yeah.
in these movies, and this quiz was written recently enough to include Hobbs. Like, why would you not include Tej? Or why
Han.
would you not include, so many people, Giselle, whoever.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, if it was right after Fast Five, but yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Okay.
Maybe it's just which Fast Five character are you? But yeah, but I like my result. Brian's good.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. It's one of the best ones, I think.
We're actually going to do, before we do the other game, Joe, we're going to play a game, Austin. We had a listener, Wes, send in a picture of a car. I'm going to try to get Joe to guess it, because the fun of this game is that I know nothing about cars, and Joe knows a lot about cars, and so it's fun to frustrate him with my absolute inability to answer simple questions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you, Austin, on Twitter in your DMs. Slide into your DMs I'm going to send you the 2 pictures of the same car. And so I want you to look at these. Don't, you can give hints when we come to it, but I want you to be able to be there and be in my corner as Joe asks yes or no questions. If I struggle to answer questions, I want your help with this, okay?
I'll do my best.
I know it's very difficult, so do not feel any pressure. Joe, this one I will say, Wes writes that he'll keep sending them if it's fun for us, but there's no need to keep the segment alive if he's the only one doing it. Hey man, like I like doing this,
I like doing it too. It's
and
fun.
if you like listening to it, we will do it as many times as you
Yeah.
want to do it. So
I'll play it.
he says, by the way, read last episode's choice. Repo Men is a near-future sci-fi action movie from 2010 with Forrest Whitaker and Jude Law, the young Pope himself, about guys that repossess artificial organs from people who have defaulted on their payments. It's much better than the similar-sounding Repo, the genetic opera. It's depressing and fun and weird, and the RZA has a cameo, and he produced a great song for the soundtrack. Plus, I just read that in one of the city scenes, there's a billboard for Fast and Furious 10, which he writes out as Fast and Furious X, which that would be kind of cool. The movie takes place in 2025, so they might not be that far off with their timing. So,
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, wow.
so this is a Japanese car.
Okay.
A little bit of a backstory here. Wes's dad restored one of these while he was in high school.
Okay.
It was produced for 4 years.
Oh, these are facts that he sent you.
He said yes.
Okay, so I was like, how do you know it's Japanese from the picture?
Yes.
Glad you're going to help a lot. Thanks.
It's part of a certain line of something.
Okay. Is it very
Of
rounded?
cars.
Is it very rounded? I would say the front is definitely more rounded than the back, but I wouldn't say the car is very round on a whole. Would you agree with that,
I
Austin?
don't even understand the question.
Okay. Do the headlights pop up or are they round?
They are embedded and they are round.
Okay.
They do not pop up.
I agree.
Is it like a Toyota?
No.
Mazda?
No.
Honda?
No.
Oh fuck. Okay. Acura,
Nope.
Lexus.
Nope. It's Japanese, remember.
Those are Japanese cars.
Lexus is Japanese?
It's just Toyota, yeah.
Huh. Learn something new. TIL. Today I learned. It's not, though.
Not Nissan.
It is a Nissan.
It is a Nissan?
Yeah, you didn't guess Nissan.
I asked you if it... Oh, no, I said Mazda. Sorry, Nissan. Okay. Nissan... Is it a Skyline?
Nope. What's weird, I know that I think they're different cars, but it feels like if you asked me to describe what the back looked like, I would describe a very different back than what the actual back looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Like it sort of seems like the back does not align with the front very well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just like visually.
Yeah.
And it has rounded headlights.
Yep. Produced from 1975 to 1978.
It's like a really old-ass Nissan, huh? I don't know. What is like the
Two-door.
old Nissan?
It's part of a line of sport coupes. The Nissan S30 line of sport coupes.
Yeah, no idea.
It's a Datsun 280Z.
A Datsun? A Datsun's it's like its
Datsun.
own thing, though.
It's a Nissan Datsun.
Is it actually called... I thought Datsun was like its own motor company, though.
I googled it, and Datsun 280Z, the Nissan S30,
Oh, that's really cool, though.
sold in Japan as the Nissan Fairlady Z, in other markets as the Datsun
Yeah,
240Z. So I guess
in
yeah,
America
it
it was
was,
a
it was made
Datsun.
by Nissan.
Yeah.
Is this a rounded car?
Yeah, I would say this is pretty roundy.
Okay.
I think the back is pretty boxy though.
Yeah, so you'd be like, okay, fastback, and then it comes to like a flat edge, rounded headlights, but they're inset. You probably have some covers on them. I like this wing thing on the back window.
Mm-hmm.
Those are really cool.
And do you agree with me, or maybe not, that like the way that the back looks does not seem to align much with like how the front? Like if you look at the front, you're like, oh, that feels like a
Oh.
different back.
No, in these years of these cars, like all of the like Celicas and stuff like that, like all kind of had this
Okay.
same feel. That's cool that his dad restored one when he was in high school. I like that. That's an interesting choice. You know, you always have like your dad's pet car that could be something weird that isn't like wasn't super popular, but is meant something to him. So I like that.
Well, okay, so we have one more game to play here on the show, Austin. It's a quick game.
Yes. Thank you, Wes. Thank you, Wes, for sending in a car picture.
Thank you, Wes, for sending in the car picture. We have one more game to play. It's called This Ain't No 10-Second Race, a.k.a. Boy, Do We Have a Podcast for You. Austin, the way that we play this game is that all three of us are going to go onto Twitter, a social networking platform that you may be familiar with, find any tweet, and we're going to respond as at Cage Club Pod, our Cage Club Twitter, by saying, boy, do we have a podcast for you, hashtag 2F2F, hashtag Fast and Furious, hashtag Too Fast, Too Forever, and then put a link to our show page on cageclub.me. It's basically a way to spread the word, spread the gospel, kind of harass people a little bit in terms of...
Mild harassment.
Mild
yeah.
harassment, but it's a fun way to play it. So, while we reviewed last week, Austin, if you want to go on Twitter, if you want to find any tweet that you think might get people to respond, the goal of this is to get people to either like it, or retweet it, or reply to it, or email us, or whatever. Basically, get people to engage with our brand. Let's review last month. Joe, you tweeted at a guy named Sir Gawain82, who
Yeah.
said... I cannot forgive the world's longest runway ever. What was that in 7? Because this is the exchange back and forth. Remember about the best bad movies or whatever? The guy
Yes.
found the clip from
Yeah.
from Gone in 60 Seconds.
Okay.
Joe, for the second month in a row, that person you tweeted at blocked us.
Oh.
Sir Gawain82 not only did not respond, but blocked us, so we are not allowed to see his tweet anymore, so 0 points for you. I found a guy at Garbage Bagels. Nicolas Cage at the Mandy premiere is my new favorite Fast and Furious villain. Side note, Mandy looks fucking awesome. Just a picture of Cage in his gold jacket. Boy, do we have a podcast for you. Now here's the thing, Joe. Garbage Bagels did not like it, but somebody named at Sheriff_Dean liked the tweet.
Yeah, that's a point.
I don't know who Sheriff Dean is. I don't know if Sheriff Dean listens to us. But 1 point for me.
Yeah, 1 point for you.
9 for you, 5 for me, 1 for Chris Maniello, Chris Podcast. Okay, Jordan, our guest in the last one, co-host of the Wistful Thinking Podcast, tweeted at Maiko Bontia, rewatching Fast and Furious 1 to 6, and then I realized that Paul Walker left the legacy, R.I.P. Boy, do we have a podcast for you. Nothing. Again, Austin, this, in case you didn't get the gist while we were playing this, very difficult to score points. In the history, in the 2 laps, basically, that we've played this game, we've only had like 3 or 4 tweets score points, so it's a very difficult game.
It's hard,
we don't
but
know
we're
how
gonna keep
to
track.
win.
And
But
we're playing forever, so it doesn't really matter.
This ain't no 10-second race. Okay. Do either of you
I
have
got
either of
mine.
you found a
I
tweet
got
yet?
mine.
Okay.
It's from @Oliosa.
Okay.
Ollie Hill. They run around the mothership. Hobbs and the Papa alien have a high-octane fistfight inside the tractor beam. Dom mumbles repeatedly about galactic family and living 1/4 parsec at a time. The aliens weep as they realize the error of their ways. All is well.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I talked a little bit before about how good the Gal Gadot parts were in Ralph Breaks the Internet, but there is in this movie called The Rider, which I told you that you should watch, Joe. Austin, have
Okay.
you seen this movie called The Rider?
No, it looked very bad to me.
It is very interesting. So the behind the scenes is that this woman, this director who wrote and directed it, was making her previous movie, caught wind of this kid's story, and basically, instead of making a documentary about him, kind of made a fictional version of what happened to him. So
Okay.
it's all like not non-actors. It's very weird, but it's very unique in how it is. But it's about rodeo riders, buck and bronco riders, and at the closing title card it says something about how these guys live their life 8 seconds at a time. And I was like, oh shit,
Oh,
that's just like living
so
life
close.
a quarter mile at a time. Okay, so Joe, you said to Aliosa, they run
Boy.
rings around the mothership, blah blah blah. Boy, do we have a podcast,
Podcast for you.
Send.
Sent.
Joe, here's my tweet, which honestly makes me disappointed. The best evidence that Hollywood is run by idiots is that there's no Fast and Furious Christmas movie from @Mike Lee Pearl. Mike Pearl on Twitter. He is
Did you
verified.
search Fast and the Furious Christmas?
I just searched Fast and Furious. This was the top thing that came up.
Oh, damn. Okay, cool.
So I'm going to reply to him. This is from 3 days ago. Boy, do we have a podcast for you. This is the kind of guy that I feel like I would love to have on the podcast because he gets it.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Austin, have you found a tweet that you would like us to respond to?
I didn't find any gold with what I was going for.
It's a hard thing. We don't know how you play, how you win, who scores what, who responds. We have no idea. We picked fun ones, we picked shitty ones, we picked ones that people respond to. It doesn't seem to matter.
And like we really run the
Okay.
gamut. Like here, like Joe's tweet has no interaction, no likes, no retweets, no replies. Mine has a ton. There's no right or wrong way. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, it's not like we've been like, oh yeah, find one with like, at least 100 likes and it's usually good. No, it doesn't make any sense.
Okay. So my method was to search for a tweet about the movie Monster in the Closet.
Oh.
Do you guys know of it?
No, I don't think
It's-
so.
Paul Walker's debut film when he was like 12 years old.
Okay.
So I was just trying to find something that like mentioned like Paul Walker in that movie, and so I'll send it. So it's just this. Someone did a poll that was like, what movie has a connection to car chases and peas?
Huh.
Yeah. Boy, do we have a podcast for you.
Sleepaway Camp. What?
Well, that's a wrong answer. So Monster in
Okay.
the Closet was the right answer, but it looks like most people said
Oh.
Chainsaw 2.
Here's a hint. It has to do with an actor and an actress. Okay. Oh, Fergie was in it too.
Oh, right. Yes, that's the peas
Oh, that's
connection.
the piece. Okay.
Ah, okay, that makes sense.
Boy, do we have a
Okay.
podcast for you. Well, Mike Morbid @JMikeMorbid on Twitter. I'm into it.
Yeah, I dig it. That was a
Hopefully
good one.
He's
Hopefully
into
it
it too.
works.
You guys should cover Monster in the Closet.
We are going to like eventually in a couple laps when we don't want to just talk about these movies.
Yeah.
We're going to cut them in between with like themed laps. And the first one we are going to do is the Paul Walker Memorial lap. So I'm going to write down
Oh,
here
nice.
Monster
Yeah, put it
in
in
the
there.
Closet.
This sounds very interesting. If it's his debut movie, I
Yeah.
think we'd have to do it.
He played like a nerdy little kid named Professor.
Okay,
It's a fun
love
movie
it.
too. I really like the movie.
I'm down. I'll watch it.
Well, Austin, thank you so much for joining
Yeah,
us and for
thank you,
telling us
buddy.
most recently about Monster in the Closet
Joining our family. You're
Oh.
now part of the family.
Oh, thank you.
officially. You're also now officially a Brian, just like me. So once we, Joe and I, figure out how to do our own quiz, maybe we'll have a family reunion lap as a thing that I coined today, Joe. Where we can bring back past guests and we can have them do
I
our
like
new
that.
quiz. Talk
Yeah,
about a different
I
movie.
like
But
it.
Austin, thank you so much for joining us
Thank you so
on
much
this
for having me.
episode. It was great to talk to you. You're always welcome here on any of our
Oh.
shows. If
Amen.
you want to check out Austin's other episodes, he was on our 15 minutes episode of Watch the Throne. He was also on the Poison Ivy: The New Seduction episode of Third Time's a Charm, which Austin, I told Mike, that's the only Poison Ivy movie that I knew about, because I remember when I was a teenage boy, the Jamie Presley in a bathtub scenes were very important to me.
Memorable, very memorable.
Yeah.
But why don't you tell a little bit about what Mike loves, what I love, what I shared with Joe, your Instagram reviews that are now on YouTube. You call them Cinema Stories, is that right?
Yeah, it's a very difficult to search. I like the name Cinema Stories. It's very simple, but I feel like it's bad for searching YouTube. But you can search my name, Austin Wolf Southern, and you'll find them. And they're movie reviews. So I record them first on Instagram, and I like that because it cuts me off after 15 seconds. So I have to review movies in 15-second increments. So I have like a timeline to like get these thoughts out and get these jokes out, and then I'll add like stupid GIFs that Instagram offers. I try to make jokes and make them funny. You can follow me on Instagram at Wolf Southern is where they go up first, and then I do a YouTube version and they go up on YouTube.
And your cats make appearances.
Oh yeah, and my cats make frequent cameos.
Do they tend to agree with you on movie taste or disagree with you?
They agree with me. They don't really have the attention span for movies, but like if I tell them, that it's a really good movie, they're like, okay, cool.
His name is in the episode description, but if you want to find him, there's no U in Southern. Wolf Southern. Wolf spelled normally, Southern without the U.
Yeah, and it's hyphenated. On Instagram, though, it's just Wolf Southern is one word without the hyphen.
I was saying to Joe that we found you because you had such good taste in your Letterboxd top 4, and you're Wolf Southern on Letterboxd too, right?
Oh, yeah. Follow me on Letterboxd too.
You're always welcome on any of our shows. We've got 22 of them over at cageclub.me. But yeah, thank you for joining us once again.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And for all of you out there, if you want to check out more of us, you can go to cageclub.me or facebook.com/cageclub or at cageclubpod on Twitter and Instagram. We are also on Facebook, this show, at facebook.com/toofast2forever. You can email us, family@cageclub.me. Like I mentioned, we have a Patreon now if you want to get merch, if you want to get more audio content, if you want to support us. You can go to patreon.com/toofast2forever. Even as little as $1 a month can get you some cool stuff, so go check that out. And we encourage you, if you have some extra money, to do that. Plus, like I said, merch can be in your future for this show. If you want to be proud about, the fact that you listen to the show, maybe you don't want to, maybe it's a secret shame. I don't know. I don't know your life. But yeah, so just go to cageclub.me and email family@cageclub.me. I'm Joey Lewandowski.
I'm Joe too.
And that was Austin Wolf Southern. And we'll see you next time to close out, sort of, if you don't count the relap recap. Lap 2 with Fate of the Furious right here on Too Fast